it was pretty close all day. And talking to Buddha after the game, they got back within a couple of goals a couple of times, and we were just able to kick a couple and stretch the margin each time.
Plenty of familiar names still there. The core is still there, but you've obviously seen some great premiership players like Felikos and Wood Mason and Learson, although they didn't play a huge amount of senior footy there. They've moved on. You lost a couple of handy other ones. Marnie comes to mind as down in the Hampton League as well. I didn't see Fraser O'Gorman's name. What's Fraser doing with his footy this year?
He's at base camp at the moment at Everest. So he booked that in nice and early and told us from the get-go that was what was going to happen. And because you got a certain window to actually do it, not that I'm going to trek over to Nepal anytime soon to do it myself.
Didn't have enough money for a golf trip?
No, well, he could have gone over to the peninsula and
seriously, play a week of golf.
Yeah,
what are you doing at Everest?
He's gone over there. But as you said before, we've probably lost 1,000 games out the door, which just opens up so much more opportunities for these young blokes.
There's altitude training and then there's altitude training.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's a fairly costly
Colorado,
expedition.
is it?
Yeah.
So some of the names, obviously, Cooper Hayes is an interesting one. He's Geelong Ammo's product, and is he just making the trek down, training nights? So it's an interesting one. Kids that play locally in Geelong in the Bellarine will usually go to a GFL club based here. How did that work that he's found himself going down your way?
Yeah, funny enough, his father, Brett, is a under-18 premiership captain at Colac back in the Hampden days. So the connection's there, and he's got a strong link with Joffy Simpkin and Darcy Lang, and loves the way they go about their footy. So I thought with the big open spaces down at Central, down at the ASL stadium, it'd suit him really well. So he thought he'd come down and have a kick with us, which was great.
Was that the same team that the great Scotty Gallen from the Herald Sun won the best and fairest in? Did they play together?
No, that might have been under 10s or something, Scotty Gallen.
Scotty won an under 18. He won an under. We used to hang it on him all the time about that.
I think Ro's hanging on him right now, which is good.
I just want to ask you about a player from another club. I wouldn't normally ask about Bell Park players, but I want to ask about what Wade McSparron's up to, because I believe there might be a little bit of over the dip or over the Pacific in his future. What's going on there?
Yeah, well, the three of them are at home because Bianca's Essendon and Tyler and Wadey are Collingwood, so they're listening in, and I better give him a bit of a plug. But he's trying out for the pro kick with Chapman and the boys up in Melbourne, so he's having a crack at that, and apparently he's doing all right from his reports anyway. So if it all goes well, he's got a couple of mates. Obviously, Joey Couch is over there, and Aidan Sleep Dalton's over there. A couple of mates that he knows from Joey. So the avenues are there. If he does well enough, he might get a scholarship out of it. Fingers crossed.
How good's that?
That's where the Carrock end of season trip's going to be.
Correct.
We're heading over to watch him Wade punt over in the.
Mate, you just spent 6 months over there.
He's not taking his family. He's trying to get all us going. Yeah. A couple of players I wanted to speak about. I talked to the Colac Mafia normally at Easter time. They were very interested to find out how Zach Zyde-Bell was going to go in the ruck. It looks like he's been given a bit of a lease on life, I suppose, because you looked a bit. This is just personally. He looked a bit top-heavy last year with a number of tall players, and it looks like he's been given a bit of freedom just to run around and play in the ruck.
Yeah, he's a natural ruckman, I think. His ability to run and jump at the ball, and then his follow-up work at ground level is first-rate. It's like
great skills, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's like we've got another ruck rover running around at 6'4", and his ability to hunt the ball's fantastic as well, so it gives us another avenue around the ground, and his ability to work hard is first-rate, and he's in good shape, so he's started the year really, really well.
That's good. And Jared Walters has come back to the club from Grammar, Northern Blues, wherever else he was. Obviously at that age now where he's 21, 22, I think right in the window for you guys to play some good GFL footy.
Yeah, he's a really calm player. He's been playing behind the ball. We've had him on the ball a little bit at times as well, but his composure behind the footy is really settling. So he's fit. Obviously, he knows all the boys growing up down that way, and it's his first senior year at Colac, so he's really enjoying it. And obviously, he gets the opportunity to play with his brother as well. So him and Aaron are loving it.
The only player I want to ask about is there was a few times last year I asked you about him while he was playing twos and things like that, but he looks like he's started the season really well. Slime Hillman, he's kicked 8, I think, and averaging 4 a game. He's obviously had a big pre-season and he's ready to go. Yeah, he's really fit at the minute, and he had a couple of niggles last year too that kind of held him back a little bit. So people think that sometimes you're playing at 12 o'clock, you're being pushed out for some reason or another, but sometimes you just need to find some form and run across the ground as well because you're coming back or you're injured. So
his body probably wasn't in the best shape last year, but as you said, his form early parts this year has been fantastic, and obviously we hope it continues.
How was the pre-season, Ro? Obviously, you don't dwell on what happened in the final series, and let's be honest, you guys linked into the final series. There's a fair few excuses for what happened during that final series with your players, but I presume you don't dwell on it, you just move on. And did you change anything up in the pre-season, or just attacked it the same way?
Yeah, we've probably changed a couple of things up pre-season, but we did dissect that final series pretty hard. Even though, you know, some of those things were out of our control, we still want to make sure the things that we can control, we do well, and we just probably didn't do that for the last, even out here against South Barwon in the last round. We weren't great there, and it continued into the final, so we've tried to rectify that best we can.
Did that raise some alarm bells, that performance? Did you walk away from your game, something just not right here?
I kind of put it, Darcy and I had a good chat about it. We thought we'd leave it alone a little bit to a certain degree, just because it was the last game. There was only us and another game played that weekend, so we thought the boys might have just tried to, you know what it gets like when it's a dead rubber. Blokes want to just preserve themselves for final. So we had a fantastic night, 2 nights on the track leading into that first final, and all indication was we were going to play some good footy, which wasn't the case.
Was there an opportunity for Brady Hall to play with you today, or was that not afforded to you?
No,
sorry, on the week.
So he was at Vic Country. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so he's in the pathway.
Sorry, not today. This Saturday I should be talking about.
Yeah, so if he gets ticked off from the Falcons, that he's right to go. He's coming back from a slight little injury, so he's only played one at the Falcons, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
And so he's only played the one, and then he played the Vic Country trial game on the weekend, so he may yet be rested, but if we can get an opportunity to get a quality player like that in, we'll definitely look at it.
Right. Great to see you. We look forward to seeing you Saturday. Looking forward to seeing the Tigers first up for 2023 for us. And we're hoping to get down to Australian Lamb Company Stadium at some stage during the year. But we want to have it, make sure there's a couple of meat packs for us waiting for us to bring back up the highway.
Lamb's not cheap these days.
That's why I'm asking for a couple.
I have to stay down on Saturday night and go to the Austral.
Hello?
Yeah, Ben can definitely sort you out at the Austral for a counter meal and whatever else.
Peril.
Hey?
That's your peril.
Might get the Buchanans over and we'll have a real fun
geez,
party.
You probably don't want that.
Could be
You'll be there for a week.
That's what I mean.
And we've used all our questions now for Saturday.
For Warra Lily, thanks for joining us, Ro. Enjoy the afternoon. Whack on the SPF 50 because she's warm out there.
It is warm, yeah. I just had a hit of golf, and I was saying to you boys earlier, Ross Dillon was good for 50 and choked. So hopefully he's listening and gets a whack.
You'll be listening to Ross going over about that.
Thanks for joining us, Ro. See you Saturday.
No worries.
Thank you, Ro.
Rowan McSparrow, the co-coach of the Colac Tigers, joining us. Thanks to Warra Lily. Plenty of mirth and merriment.
You love when the coaches tip in their mates too.
I love this little bit of drive-bys.
Live in Geelong's most awarded community, the premier place for families to live. That is warralily.com.au. The Anzac Observance ceremony is not too far away. Don't forget you can join us, krockfootball.live. If you're here at the ground, you've got in the car, Krock 955, you want to jump out, listen to it on your smart device, whack it on krockfootball.live, and we'll bring you a zero delay call of this afternoon's massive clash between South Barwon and St. Joseph. The Anzac Observance ceremony next. We're before the bounce for Team Tyre Power and the Ponds and Norlane Hotel. Get your friends together and have a fun day out at the Ponds and Norlane Hotel. Thanks to Epco Cafe 24/7. Anzac Day football. Live, breathe, Krock footy.
The most.
Don't panic. Call Steamatic.
Essington Street, Grovedale. Visit steamatic.com.au.
The heart and soul of Warrnambool is the Ponds. Enjoy a quality meal, grab a drink and relax. It's such a friendly atmosphere with a playroom for the kids. Choose from indoor or outdoor dining. Kick back in the all-new beer garden or catch up with mates in the sports bar. There's the cafe and bottle shop too, all open daily.
The ponds.
The ponds.
Love the ponds.
At the Homemaker Centre, Warn Ponds. View the menu at warnpondshotel.com.au.
Ready to refinance? Geelong Bank's 1-2 home loan is a game changer.
Score a discounted variable rate from 4.94% per annum.
With mortgage offset and $2,000 cash back, it's a deal worth barracking for.
Kick off your 1-2 home loan application today. Visit geelongbank.com.au for details.
Credit eligibility criteria, terms and conditions, fees and charges apply. Comparison rate 5.77% per annum. Australian credit licence 244351. Offer may be withdrawn at any time.
Go Harvey Norman, go.
Geelong, it's a huge clearance now at Harvey Norman Furniture. Massive savings at Corio and Warn Pond stores. Up to 40% off outdoor furniture and barbecue clearance ranges. Up to 40% off ex-display lounges, dining settings and case goods. Pick up huge clearance deals on all in-stock furniture. Update the furnishings in your home now and save. Limited time only at Harvey Norman, Princess Highway, Corio and Warn Ponds.
Go Harvey, go.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, ABCO. Fueled by ABCO Cafe 24/7.
For the bounce, thanks to Team Tyre Power and the Ponds at Norlane Hotel. Get your friends together and have a fun day out at the Ponds and Norlane Hotel. We're just about ready to go down to ground level for the Anzac Day ceremony. And we're going to throw to the Master of Ceremonies, who we all know well, Tom King. And I think Kingy is ready for us now.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon and welcome to McDonald Reserve for the Anzac Observance Ceremony on this wonderful day between South Barwon and St Joseph's Football Netball Clubs. My name is Tom King. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting today, the Wadawurrung, of course, people, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I'd like to now call forward to lead the Anzac Requiem, Graham Christie, President of the Geelong and District Vietnam Veterans. Graham. You're good. You're good. That's this one.
Come over here. Is that better? Ladies and gentlemen, the Anzac Requiem was written by Captain Charles E. W. Bean as the official war correspondent in World War I. He became the advocate and chair of the Australian War Memorial. This is what he wrote back in 1918. On this day above all days, we recall those who served in war and did not return to receive the grateful thanks of the nation. We remember those who still sleep where they were left amid the holly scrub in the valleys and on the ridges of Gallipoli, on the rocky and terraced hills of Palestine, and in the lovely cemeteries of France. We remember those who lie asleep in ground beneath the shimmering haze of the Libyan desert, at Bardia, Derna, Tobruk, and amid the mountain passes and olive groves of Greece and Crete, and the snow-capped hills of Lebanon and Syria. We remember those who lie buried in the rank jungles of Malaya and Burma, in New Guinea, and in the distant isles of the Pacific. We remember those who lie in unknown resting places in almost every land, and those gallant men whose grave is the unending sea. Especially do we remember those who died as prisoners of war, remote from their homeland and from the comforting presence of their kith and kin. We think of those of our women's services who gave their lives in our own and foreign lands and at sea, and of those who proved to be, in much more than name, the sisters of our fighting men. We recall too the staunch friends who fought beside our men on the first Anzac Day, the men of New Zealand who helped create the name of Anzac. We recall all those who gave their lives in the merchant services and in the Commonwealth and Allied forces. We think of every man and woman who in those crucial hours died so that the lights of freedom and humanity might continue to shine. We think of those gallant men who died in Korea, Malaya, Borneo, Vietnam, East Timor, Iraq and Afghanistan, and in the peacekeeping and peace enforcing commitments to defend the Commonwealth and other countries of the free world against a common enemy. May these all rest proudly in the knowledge of their achievement. May we, as our successors in that heritage, prove worthy of their sacrifice.
Thank you, Graham. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the laying of the wreaths, and I'd like to call forward several representatives to lay those wreaths, and I welcome the Geelong Memorial Band to resume playing. Firstly, I'd like to welcome the President of the Geelong RSL, Mr. Andrew Hands. Representing the Geelong District Vietnam Veterans, Graham Christie. Lieutenant Commander Elizabeth Quinn. Representing the office of the Member for Corio and Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles MP, Hayley Bamford. The State Member for Geelong, Christine Cousins MP. The Member for South Barwon, Darren Cheeseman MP. Representing the City of Greater Geelong, Councillors Ron Nelson and Melissa Cadwell. AFL Barwon Commissioner Mark Wilkin. From Buckley's, their chair, Mr. Bill Brebner. And our respective club presidents, from the South Barwon Football Netball Club, Tim Sherman, and from the St Joseph's Football Netball Club, Sue Cormack. And also representing St Joseph's, Cole Silcock. Thank you to those who have laid our wreaths this afternoon below the Australian and New Zealand flags. I'd like to now call forward the President of the Geelong RSL to deliver the ode, Mr. Andrew Hands. Andrew.
Could you all please stand for those who are seated? They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eyes, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds encountered. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we to the left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
lest we forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please stay up standing and remove your hats for the Australian National Anthem to be performed by the Geelong Memorial Band.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth of toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds with nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the Geelong Memorial Band. Thank you to our wreath layers today. Thank you to both St Joseph's and South Barwon Football Netball clubs, to the netballers as they prepare for their match this afternoon, to the women's footballers who have played, and to our senior footballers, we wish you the best of luck. I'd like to call forward the respective senior football captains, Matt Caldew from South Barwon and Alex Hickey from St Joseph's. And I also call forward Lieutenant Commander Elizabeth Quinn for the toss of the coin. Elizabeth, if you'd like to join us. So we'll just... We'll let Lieutenant Commander Quinn toss the coin, and we'll let you know who will kick which way this afternoon at McDonald Reserve. So we've got a special penny, and Al Hickey will have the call from St Joseph's. He's called tails, and there's a tail, and St Joseph's will kick to the Clairvaux end. Good luck to both sides. Thank you for your involvement in today's ceremony.
Thanks to Tom King, and thanks to everybody involved in the ceremony for Anzac.
Really starting afresh today. So history, put it to the side. Whilst it's a fair hold, I think today's a whole new ball game, and we're going to see one hell of a game.
Winner and margin, Birchie, please.
I'm going to tip St Joseph's, 10 points.
10. Kirsch.
St Joseph's by 2 goals.
Jace.
St Joseph's by 3 points after the siren.
Laurie Hill.
South Barwon by 20 after the siren.
South Barwon for me this afternoon to snap that 15-game losing streak. They'll do it by 12 points. I reckon we're in for a cracker here this afternoon. Ryan Bell priming himself in the ruck. Gee, how am I going? Try and get that out. They will kick to the northern or city end in this opening term, while it'll be down to the Clairvaux end or the southern or Old Tech School end, the Bowling Lanes end, the Warren Ponds Creek end, you name it, that's where they'll be kicking St Joseph's in this opening quarter. Young Ollie Northam, whose hair is getting longer by the week. Again, talking about number change, I think Ryan Bell was wearing in the 60s last year in the 2s. Yep. And he's got a little graduation up to 11, which that James Sid, that was Sticks Davis's number.
Yeah. He'll he'll be looking forward more this week than Ryan Abbott last week. So it's a tough initiation into the GFL.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So just waiting for the last remnants of crowd to remove themselves from the ground, and we will get this one underway as round 2 will come to a conclusion. But St Joseph's, who will have next weekend off after bringing forward their clash with North Shore to before Easter, we're looking to go 3-0 and just having that little buffer on the rest of the competition, while South looking to go 2-0 after tipping over Grovedale last week to the tune of 41 points. Umpire about to put the ball in hand, hold it aloft, and Anzac Day 2023 is nearly a go between these two very proud clubs, South Barwon and St Joseph's. We are right to go for Geelong Bank and their 1-2 home loan, 1% less for 2 years. Get us underway, Jason Doherty.
There's Ryan Bell for South Barwon up against Ollie Northern for St Joeys, and Bell gets it down towards Doyle Madigan for the Swans, who's wrapped up straight away. Hunter Lewis coming off the line, and he wraps him up. Doyle Madigan, we're going to have a secondary bounce just forward of the centre circle for St Joeys. Falls in towards the side. Antonak runs past it. Lewis picks it up by hand, gives it back by hand to Buckley. Tumbling punt towards half forward. Falls the arms of DeGrandy. Kick around the corner close to the boundary line. It might be okay. Might work out okay. Oh, McLaughlin takes a good diving mark. Hamlin Hanger contender early doors for St Joseph's.
McLaughlin in front of a big crowd in front of the burger van. Kicks into the pocket. No mark taken. It's off the hands of the pack. Bell was back there trying to run interference. There's a tackle laid by Madigan. We'll get a ball up. Wombat Gully Plant Farm. Kirsch, anything you picked up matchup-wise early?
Yeah. Bosley's got O'Dwyer, and Hovey's got the job on the big Kellogg down at full forward. That's a really good matchup as well.
Bell won the tap down. Roving done by Tanner Owen. He's taken down in a tackle and going nowhere. And we'll get a ball up about 35 out from the St Joseph's goal.
As mentioned, Ryan Goff has the job on Paddy DeGrandy at the other end of the ground.
Umpire puts it into the air again. Bell winning the tap down. Ball rolls towards the boundary line. Peters through traffic, trying to get a handball to James. Confronted by Antonak, but the ball's going to spill for Madigan, who kicks on his left towards half-back, but coming across, reading it best off the boot, is the skipper of St Joseph's, Al Hickey.
Hickey now drives it back inside 50. Wants a marking target. Punched away by Fort defensively for South Barwon. They've got the numbers as well. Mulroney goes back across the face of goal to the outer side back pocket. Might be okay just. And Swans just settle the play down right in the last line of defence. Short little kick. Might have been Lockie Noble. And the ball chipped around the back. Comes back towards centre half back for South Barwon. Cunningham goes to Mulroney, got a hand to it, couldn't take the mark, but got a bit of time to size it up and gives it away by hand as well. And they go towards centre wing, taking the mark, Chris Hughes for the Swans.
Hughes from St Bernard's in the Victorian Amateur competition. Very handy pickup for the Swans. Kick towards half forward. What's he got marking wise? Fly over the back, but not taken by Urquhart. He'll try and find it at ground level, but Harry Smith will worry him out of it. He's over the footy, knocking it up, only as far as Madigan, though, who burst away with speed and then drills a ball to the goal square. Not a bad effort, but it's going to york the goalpost as Hovey's got that matchup back there against Ben Callett, who there's big raps on at South Barwon. The first score of the afternoon, a minor one, a behind that hit the post for Doyle Madigan, but geez, the strength and speed out of the contest.
Jeez. He was 3v1 then in that stoppage, and away he went with it.
So waiting for the footy to come back. Don't tell me somebody's run away with the footy already. No, they've got Al Hickey's waiting for it.
It'd been good nick too.
Oh, so absolutely. It's had 20 kicks on it and be ready to go. He's got it at full back for St Joeys.
Al Hickey's coming up for 4 of them. Started well
That's
early.
Exactly right. So he's going to do the kicking in duties. He's got Northam this side, broadcast side. western side of McDonald Reserve. He goes in that direction now. Goff in the middle as well. Bell, pack develops. Madigan front and centre again. This time not going anywhere. No. Gets wrapped up by Louis Antonak straight away. They learnt, trying to extract the footy there. Hocking coming across to help out as well. So right in front of the best seats in the house thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7. Northam gets it down from the ruck contest. Ball goes towards centre wing. Good play. Coming out at pace was Owen. He takes the mark for Joeys.
Owen sees something he likes forward, and it's a well-weighted kick. The mark taken by Hannessy. Hannessy quickly wants to move it on to young Lewis. Lewis dropped an absolute sitter on his chest. Now he's got trouble. Fort trying to wrap him up, but he knocked the ball out, Lewis. South Barwon at half-back look to run. Kick from Goff on the bounce. He's going to roll to Bell and then roll away from Bell, and it's cleaned up nicely by Buckley. Heard a voice, just gave a handball. He wanted Mullen, but he won't get to him. Northam head over it. Knocked it into the path of a teammate. Handball in the up finds Mullen. Mullen gives it to McLaughlin. McLaughlin 55 from goal. Short little kick. Good defensive spoil coming across from Peters. Knocks it out of bounds in front of the Burger van, and we'll get a boundary throw in right forward pocket. St Joseph's in attack, but South Barwon leading, one behind. St Joseph's yet to score. 4 minutes gone. Port Phillip Ferry's time clock.
De Grande doing the ruck work forward of 50 for St Joeys. Bell gets in front, gets a left hand to it. And was that a high tackle? I think it might have been over the shoulder. It's going to come back and be a free kick.
My man.
To Jake Peters, I think.
Oh, no.
He's your man too.
Oh, my man had it under the pack.
Peters gets it to Madigan. Along the line goes towards Noble. Punched away. Jack Buckley on centre wing for St Joeys. And we'll have a boundary throw in right in front of a massive crowd here at McDonald Reserve.
Madigan started on fire last week before he got hurt, Kirsch, and he started well again.
He's done the same, hasn't he? He's everywhere at the moment. No, not being hindered by that corky.
Boundary throw in. Northam at the back. Now, I heard a whistle. Was that from the netball courts? It might have been from the netball courts. But Madigan, here he is again, kicking to half forward, and Caldu on the juggle, couldn't complete the mark. Front of the pack, McLaughlin's been present early. He goes short with a kick that's okay for Northam. And that flowing mullet of Ollie Northam takes you back to sort of Def Leppard mid-1980s style. Poison kick on the bounce. Chance now for Henderson. Gave a handball over the top. Oscar Morrison, long ball inside, forward 50, goal square, using the body, but no mark taken.
Oh, look out.
Over the back.
Look out.
Here is Mullen. Here is Mullen missing to the right-hand side.
He was running there.
Trying to make history repeat 2 years on.
He was running there, Kingy.
Same pocket. Same sort of snap, but just couldn't get the bend, and it's a minor score. St Joseph's first of the afternoon, and they are locked away at 1 point apiece with South Barwon. First quarter thanks to Geelong Bank, and Geelong Bank's 1-2 home line.
Well, Swans kick it out, and Urquhart takes the third man in line at half-back. Took a fantastic mark over the top of Ollie Northam, and will drive it long towards centre wing. Bosley, Fort, Caldu, they're all there. Caldu up front and centre was Buckley for St Joeys. Handball spills through Callett. Massive. Gets the handball away. Caldu through the middle. Under pressure now. They need some support, and Joeys, they just wrap things up there. They're under a bit of pressure. Morrison came across to help out from centre half forward, came back towards the half-back flank, and we're going to have a ball up for Bell, who gets it down. Northam got a hand to it as well. Northam threw it. The umpire said play on. Now off a step ball comes from Starkey for South Barwon, inside 50. No mark to Carmody. He's under pressure. Can he pick it up? He kept his feet, which was good, and then he got a trip, and the umpire said play on. And what's he paid? He's paid the payback of a push, I think. He missed the one to start with for Jackson Carmody, which was a leg, and he'll shoot the goal from 30 out, slide ankle.
It's a fair win, one-on-one with
Al Hickey,
one of the greats of the competition, who started really well as well, might I add. He's had the 5 possessions early.
Feet, and that was the thing,
that's exactly right, yeah.
So
you're a goner then.
So Jackson Carmody, who's going to play an important part for the Swans around these talls in the South Barwon forward line this afternoon. 30 out, northern end of the ground, comes in, right foot kick, and goal umpire only moves about 3 inches and calls it a behind.
He celebrated and everything, but
so he's missed it to the right-hand side and through. They double their score, the Swans. They are 2 behind. St Joeys 1 behind. Geelong Bank K-Rock first quarter scoreboard.
Watching that match-up with Henderson and Fraser Fort. Fraser Fort's been running defensively every time the ball goes forward of centre for St Joseph, so he's playing a real defensive role off that wing, and Henderson's been able to have 2 possessions on the outside while that's been happening.
Matt Kershaw for the Sporting Globe. St Joseph's kicked it into half-back, but Kelly O'Neill got across, gave it to Madigan, but Madigan's kick inside 50, marked by Camerick, who's wearing 41 this afternoon. I reckon he wore number 10 back in round 1. He comes laterally, and Mark taken comfortably there by Joel O'Dwyer. He goes into the right back pocket to Smith. Smith holds a handball back that was intended for Al Hickey. Instead will kick now on his left boot for St. Joeys to the wing. Well weighted ball, and Henderson uncontested. In fact, just back of the wing. Really slow progress here. Smith has worked up the ground. Will mark at the back edge of the centre square and swing onto his left boot. Drives a kick now towards left half forward, wanting Hunter Lewis in one-on-one with Starkey. Lewis couldn't mark, but he found it at ground level. Then he fumbled, tried to knock it up to a teammate. Little kick backwards was smart play from Jed Warren. And now Harrison Smith goes on his left boot, and the mark taken by Mackay, the former Newtown signing who never played a game at the Eagles.
He goes now from centre wing, all tumbling, punt inside forward 50. And that's a great Hamlet hanger, if you don't mind. One-hander from Fraser Duray for South Barwon. He was third in line, really, and just plucked the hand out and said, I'll take that. And he goes towards centre wing with the kick. No mark taken. Caldu is just surrounded by a couple of St. Joeys players. Morrison was one handball, didn't hit the target. There's Mackay again. He can't get it. Tried to kick it third time off the ground. And South Barwon with the numbers at the back of the pack, but they lose momentum in the tackle. And the ball comes out to James Hickey. He's wrapped up. Does he get rid of the football? The umpire says he does, but he was holding the ball, and it's going to be a free kick right in front of the scoreboard for South Barwon.
My man, Sammy James, has got it. That'll earn some Matheson medal votes, no doubt.
Oh, gee whiz.
Will now.
Caldu. Smith, that's surely a free kick to Smith. Caldu buffeted him off the footy. No, the mark's paid out there for South Barwon. And now the kick inboard looking for Callett, who is chopped off by Jack Buckley, who's been good early. Buckley driving it long. Inside forward 50 to Grandy. Oh, Goff in front. Good strong grab. Positioned himself well, read the flight nicely, the Geelong VFL listed youngster. And he wants to play on with a handball to James. He's got trouble. He was too slow. He was run down. And the free kick, I reckon it might be Hennessy.
Yeah, he's quick, Ollie Hennessy.
Who's gobbled him up like Pac-Man. And man on the mark, just inside 50. And Hennessy, well, we know he's got a good leg on him. And with barely a breath of wind, Birchie for South Point Garden Supplies, this shouldn't be an issue. Just a bit of a wind report.
Yeah, no, not much wind to speak of at all. Maybe just slightly out to that right-hand goalpost, but the centre will do.
Hennessy for the first of the afternoon, starts it right, works it back. Has he worked it back enough? He has. Just at the right-hand goalpost. He read the breeze beautifully. Birchie's tips working. And the first of the afternoon on the K-Rock Geelong Bank 1-2 home loan scoreboard goes to St. Joseph's and Ollie Hennessy. They're 1-1-7, Joey. South Barwon 2 behinds as we've played 10.5 minutes on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock.
You mentioned in the call, Kingy, about the ball movement from their back half was just a little bit slower because South Barwon's immediate reaction is to fold backwards into their back half. So St. Joseph's ball movement is going to be a little bit stymied by that. But on that occasion, the same thing sort of happened, but there obviously the opportunity to tackle arose, and Ollie Hennessy's got some speed, so you're not getting away from him too many times.
Back in the middle, Northam goes up early. Bell got a hand to it, straight through the middle. It comes back to Northam, tries to break free. Handball, though, chopped off, throws to the umpire. South Barwon into attack, but, oh, my God, he brought his own football today, I think. He goes out wide. It's okay. And setting the pace for Jed Warren to take the mark at defensive wing. He tries to drill it along the boundary line. Does Muhor. Will get on his left boot, you suspect, and he wheels around and does that now. Goes towards half forward with the kick. Goff gets back there in front.
It's been good.
Yeah, he has been good. K-Rock zone. And he's heard about Sam James and Tom King, and he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want James to be K-Rock zone.
Oh, he hasn't got it. He hasn't got it. To give it off.
Well, he got a push, so. Yeah. All right, his teammate will take it. Oh. Swans have still got it. Go towards the boundary line in the back. Callis had to come over and actually bash it out defensively for South Barwon, and we will have a boundary throw-in on centre wing. It's 1-1-7 St. Joeys. South Barwon 2 behind. Geelong Bank K-Rock first quarter scoreboard.
Game hasn't reached any great heights for the Sporting Globe, Kirsch.
No, we thought that, though, the first 5 to 10 minutes is going to take them a little bit to settle it out, but we're in 12 minutes and we've only seen the one goal.
From the boundary thrown ball to the front of the pack, Antonak was there for St. Joseph's. Good tackle laid over the top by Mackay. That ensured that Hutchinson was going nowhere, and a true centre wing will get a ball up.
We've got some real good matchups around the ground too, so every contest is a battle at the minute.
At Wombat Gully Plant Farm, those matchups. Wombat Gully Plant Farm, see the team at Wombat Gully 201 Townsend Road in Moolap for all your gardening needs. We're from the boundary throwing it with throw-in, seen it, or ball up, seen it go out of bounds. And Mackay's going to do the ruck work here against Bell. Mackay won the tap down. O'Neill did the roving for South Barwon. Camerick ensured he was progressing no further. And we'll get another stoppage. There'll be no easy wins in terms of getting the footy this afternoon for anybody.
Absolutely not.
Ball up. Bell gets it down for South Barwon. Antonak wrapped up straight away in the tackle.
Spoke about young Urquhart's game last week. Well, he lined up on Alex Hickey, so he's rolled up the ground a little bit now, young Urquhart.
Bell gets it down to Madigan, who gets the kick away towards centre wing. Ball in dispute. Kaldu gets wrapped up straight away as well in the tackle. Al Hickey's there defensively, and the controlling umpire will come in and throw it in the air for Bell again to get it down. Madigan tried to tap it on through traffic. That's a hold. Throwing the ball. The umpire said no. Madigan got it backwards, off a step. Erkin around the corner. McLaughlin, he can't take it. In fact, it was Hutchinson who got it away to McLaughlin. Now free kick over the shoulder, and it's going to be Antonak, who made his VFL debut for Geelong last weekend. Back in the St. Joeys team, he'll take the free kick at centre wing.
He's rolling with a little bit more streamlined hairdo, I reckon, Louis Antonak.
There's a reason for that.
Just back of the wing, sending towards half forward, bouncing ball. Hennessy tried to knock it forward into the path of young Lewis. Lewis with a left foot dribbler, rolling and goaling. Second of the afternoon belongs to St. Joseph's, and a little bit of class from the youngster, Hunter Lewis. We know his old man had some talent, and this kid's got it in spades as well. Kicks his 5th of the season, and St. Joseph's their 2nd of the afternoon. They move to 2-1-13. South Barwon are 2 behinds on the first quarter. K-Rock Geelong Bank scoreboard.
And Kingy, the impressive part about that was that at that stoppage, just here on centre wing, Hunter Lewis has been rolling up to the stoppage as an extra around the stoppage, and his work rate to actually work back towards goal was outstanding on that occasion, and he was rewarded by some hard work.
Louis Antonak shaved cranium story. What is it?
Roll the dice. $50 or shave your head.
Shave the head.
Yep.
Well done, Louis. Good work.
Cheaper to shave the head.
Fort in the middle, beautifully down to Madigan. So that's answered the question. Fraser Ford in the ruck for South Barwon. Goes towards Bosley at half forward. Over the top of it, needs to get rid of it, and did. St. Joey's got the numbers around. Bosley brought it back in. Probably bought a bit of time. Noble breaks free. Right foot kick around the corner towards the goal square open. Getting back there. Oh, Kaldu! Hamlin Hanger! Contender, and then kicks the goal on the goal line. The big skipper of the South Barwon Footy Club puts their first on the board this afternoon, and a quick reply for the home side. They are 1-2-8. They trail St. Joey's 2-1-13. Geelong Bank, K-Rock, first quarter scoreboard.
We've spoken about it before with Doyle Madigan's ability to just get those clearances or just out of a scrimmage produce something. He's done it again with that clearance, but Lockie Noble did exactly the same thing here. The strength around the ball at the moment with South Barwon's really showing. So if they can just get that ball forward, we've spoken about how dangerous our forward line is, and there's a prime example.
He's a good player, Matty Kaldu.
He certainly is.
Neildy's come down out of his stand up there, and he's down on the boundary line.
Beautiful tap down by Fort, roving by James. Kick inside 50 for South Barwon. Oh, here's Hickey again. Alex back with the flight marking for St. Joseph's. Comes in to Tanner Owen, who's been okay early.
He's good.
Seen a little bit of it, the youngster, former Geelong Falcon.
Attacks the ball really well, Tanner Owen.
Back edge of the centre square. He drives it towards the outer wing using the body. Mackay couldn't work his opponent off the footy in Fort, but Fort did well to be able to knock the ball forward, only as far as Smith for St. Joseph's. He gave a handball off to Antonak, slung in the tackle, a handball to Mackay. Was able to lower the eyes and put a bouncing ball into the path of Warren. Warren about 75 from home, kick inside 50. McLaughlin to run onto it. In fact, he got a nightmare of a bounce, and it was cleaned up out the back by Giray. Shared it with Goff to Peters. Peters with the outside of the right boot. A well-weighted kick onto the chest of Noble, who marks it true centre wing.
Plays on quickly, left foot kick towards half forward. Push past Carmody. Can he pick it up? He can't. He's got 2-on-1. Hickey L gives it away by hand. Close to the boundary line. Buckley under pressure. Back to Hocking. Back to Buckley. Runs past the 1-2. Inside defensive 50. Measures the pass. McLaughlin. He's bought his own footy this afternoon too, Max. At right half back for St. Joseph's. Has taken the mark. Wants to play on. Got Antonak running past. He elects to go with the kick instead. Probably should have handballed it. Peters was there for South Barwon. They rove the Swans and they go back inboard. Bit of space at centre half forward. James shuffles the handball. Fort inside defensive 50. Drills the football inside 50. And all Jackson Carmody had to do was sit and wait. Fraser Fort put it right on his chest, and he will shoot for goal from about the same spot he missed one earlier, 30 out slide angle.
Well,
turnover.
Yeah, well, it's just a young kid probably biting off a little bit more than you can chew, playing on when you shouldn't. Just kick it to a one-on-one down the line if you have to. That's just experience. That's all it is. Just the heat of the moment, wanted to go. And then Felix Henderson's a winger, had to come back and defend a forward. So they were all caught out by the turnover.
Old-fashioned shootout for Leopold Sporties at Drysdale. They're 6-2-38. Port Arlington, 5 straight 30.
Jeez.
That's 11 goals. Wouldn't even be quarter time yet.
So Carmody comes in, and this time it's a much better finish for the South Barwon small forward. He hits his first of the afternoon, and the second for South Barwon. They go to 2-2-14. Oh, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. May he rest in peace. St Joeys 2-1-13. Geelong Bank K-Rock first quarter scoreboard.
Yes. Just very sneaky, Carmody. He always sort of gets into a bit of space. Every time you look up, he's got some space. He's creative.
Well, they're pretty tall down there, aren't they? So he's going to have to. He's got front and centre around those big boys.
He's
like
got a big job.
Mosley.
He's got a big job. Him and Noble down there. They're the two.
Yep.
A nice fight back from South with consecutive goals through Caldu and Carmody. Mackay doing the ruck work, winning the tap down. Bell fighting for it for South Barwon. Lost it in the Mackay tackle. It spills for Hickey. That's James. Then his little handball. It was intended for Warren, but there's going to be a free kick going which way? It's going against South Barwon, against Mulroney, I think, and going to Jed Warren. Warren, a handball at close quarters. Sold Antonak up the river. Was able to use his skill to break a tackle and then swing a long right foot kick inside 50. Wonderful mark to Grandy. Stood tall in the pack and hung onto it in a hammer and a hanger. He sort of looked up at the umpire saying, is that my mark?
Yeah, because he pointed the wrong way, the umpire.
Yeah. And
he thought it was a block.
No, actually, no, it's going the other way.
Oh, it is a block.
Oh, right. So
there's arms going everywhere.
So it's a free kick to Goff. And he's now directing traffic, the youngster, in the right back pocket. Sending a kick towards the Reynolds Road side of the ground, looking out there for Urquhart. Used the body nicely. He's a great story, Urquhart. 3 games with Grovedale back in 2018. Now a kick forward of the wing. Caldu, the target, spoiled away from behind into the path of Mulroney. His handball had no real impact on it, but it's going to fall okay, is it? No. It's out of bounds just as Austin Shepherd was ready to pounce, and we'll get a boundary throw in between wing and half forward out of side. There is a massive crowd here at McDonald Reserve enjoying this one, and we hope you're enjoying it through KROC 955 and KROCfootball.live and the AFL Barwon TV live stream.
Mackay gets it down to the front. Fort does the roving work. Bell, toe poke off the ground. Only as far. Hunter Lewis got a clearing kick back towards the middle. Tracking it was Hutchinson. Does well. Breaks free. Gets a right foot kick towards centre half forward. Oh, standing ground. But Buckley takes the mark, and they switch the play quickly to McLaughlin. Kept his width. Took the mark at half back. Don't reckon he's going to play on this time. He thought about short. He goes short now. Safe. Go to the skip up. Get a game next week. That's what you do. Al Hickey takes it at right half back. He's just sizing up what he's going to do as well. He's going to go along the line. Oh, that is a torpedo punt, if you don't mind, towards half forward. Peters overruns it for South Barwon. He needs some support. Muhort through the middle. He gets ripped off the football as well. Holding the ball. Send the umpire. Whack! Only had it for 1.2 seconds. Gone.
Jeez.
Free kick South Barwon.
Dylan Starkey, the recipient of the free kick advantage, has been paid. Caldu couldn't mark. Front of the pack, quick kick forward came from Duray inside 50. Carmody dropped what he should have taken. Time to recover and lace out. Hits Broughton. Well, that was touched off the boot according to the umpire. So he had to give a handball to Noble. Noble had his kick wonderfully smothered by Hovey diving across his boot. Forced a spillage. Handball out the back came from Hughes looking for Carmody. Joeys have done well to hold up here, and they will clear with Henderson hitting Oscar Morrison, who gives a handball now off to Mullen. Mullen running himself in and out of trouble, and laterally he comes to Buckley.
He does, and he finds him. They've got a bit of space on broadcast side. They go towards McLaughlin, picks it up on the half volley, kick over the shoulder, but they're playing one behind the ball, sort of both sides. Goff was positioning himself nicely, took the mark at half back uncontested, and it's gone up half a notch.
It has indeed, yep. Certainly has. It's full pressure everywhere at the moment.
So Goff short, just okay, and Mark taken at half back. I'll be Todd White, I think, who's got it. Goes with a right foot kick towards the big Northern, who goes up. Callett's there as well. McLaughlin tried to tap it on. A little toe poke in the pack. Bell puts the tackle on, and pack develops around Jack Mullen, who's the last to get up. Gets pushed into the ground by Fraser Duray. Ball comes back up centre wing. Broadcast side, Bell and Northam. Northam gets it down. Mullen has to stand, gets wrapped up, loses the football in the tackle. Little toe poke. Only as far as O'Neill. Got it away to Noble. Kick around the corner towards half forward. Bosley punched it on. Callett McLaughlin gets back there to help for St. Joeys. Oh, that's on the full. Callett came off his right boot, and there will be a free kick to St. Joeys in the last line of defence, and it might be Max McLaughlin.
Who goes laterally into the back pocket. They'll look to clear through Joel O'Dwyer. Goes across the face of his defensive goal to Smith, who's called to play on. So he just had to loop a handball over the head of Carmody to Buckley, who gives it back to Smith. Smith on his left boot sends it towards the outer half-back flank, and stretching and marking his Hennessy with the John Oates moustache.
Gold.
He gives a handball off, and they look to run. The kick might have been Warren kicking.
Henderson,
and Henderson should say. Now to Mackay down low. Handball. Camerick had to stretch to take the footy, and in doing so left it behind. Then he found it and was wrapped up by Big Fort. Now he's got Madigan over the top of him. He needs to get it out. Umpire says, give it to me. I'll ball it up. 23 minutes ticked over on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock, and on the K-Rock first quarter, Geelong Bank scoreboard, South Barwon 2-2, leads St. Joseph 2-1.
Bell gets it down from the ruck contest. That's a high tackle, free kick. South Barwon Northam came over the top of Kelly O'Neill, and he will take the free kick at right half back for South Barwon on the outer side. Short little kick is okay. Peters back to Bell, wants the 1-2. Oh, Bell's handball. Peters had to sit and wait for it, and then his kick was smothered. So St. Joeys putting the pressure on. Peters needs some help. He toe pokes it back. Todd White gets a kick towards centre wing. Great pick up Urquhart. Kick around the corner towards half forward. Oh, he's kicked that into the car park though. Out of bounds. Free kick St. Joeys half back on the outer side.
Just following that Port Arlington-Drysdale game for Leopold Sporties, Tom Richardson's kicked 2 goals for Port Arlington. Do you reckon old-time Drysdale people are probably going, we're not liking what we're seeing here? Of course, son of former Drysdale and Ocean Grove star Adam. And the long kick is marked by White at half-back for South Barwon. He wants the middle of the ground, and he's got Fort running. It was a wonderful 45-degree kick. Fort hit it in stride. Inside 50, wanted Noble, but stretching and marking is Chaplin for St. Joseph's. He goes short to Buckley, who's been very busy as well. Buckley and Hickey, Alex, have been really staunch down back for St. Joseph's. He's now called to play on. He's going to have to come broadcast side. I don't think he wanted to, but he will, to a one-on-one. Asking a lot of Owen. Spoil knocked it away at the front of the pack, but only as far as Antonak that came from O'Neill. He wanted Hennessy, who overran a pretty sloppy handball, and he gave it O'Neill to Fort, who gave it back to O'Neill, although I reckon Fort has got a little bit of trouble there, and Antonak not happy. Warren getting involved with Madigan, and there's a St. Joseph's player on his haunches. It's Hennessy who's now getting to his feet. Bell's being spoken to. Fort stands the mark. Was there any? I didn't see what happened.
Coat angered him.
Yeah, he gave him one eye.
Old school.
Yeah.
So nothing extremely untoward.
Nothing malicious. Well, nothing.
Yeah, nothing reportable.
No.
Hovey marks after receiving the kick from Smith. Swings a kick inside 50. A one-on-one. Mackay had it fisted away. Hennessy, the front of the pack. He overran the footy. Numbers there for South Barwon. James, though, couldn't take it cleanly. Bosley's worked back behind the footy. He bursts away. Now pulls a kick. Sees Big Bell. That kick, though, won't favour him. Or dropping what he should have taken was O'Dwyer. Helped out by Hocking, who gave a handball back to Buckley. Point of the square at right half back for St. Joseph's. He goes short. And marking on the chest is Jed Warren, who's also very much in the... He's also in the Ollie Hennessy.
They're like brothers, aren't they? Warren's taken it back into centre wing. Drives it towards half forward. Mackay comes out, takes the mark.
They're outnumbered then, St. Joseph's, because they were 3-1 fighting with Ryan Bell.
They were. Mackay down the line. Inside 50 with the kick over the back to Grandy. Pushed past the football by Jake Peters. They see it over the line. Boundary throw in right half forward for the visitors. They are 2-1-13, trailed South Barwon 2-2-14, and we have played 26 minutes. Port Phillip Ferries first quarter time clock.
Swans by 1. Ball back into play. Mackay doing the ruck work for St. Joeys. There's going to be a free kick for a hold, and it's going to Joeys and to Mackay. So I reckon Callett has given away the free kick in the ruck contest, and Mackay, with the man on the mark to stand about 35 from goal, right of centre, will have a chance to kick his first of the afternoon. Of course, from WA over here with Marcus Oldham, and he's going to kick after the siren. Signed by Newtown in 2021, did his knee in a pre-season game. When he returned, he did it while on the farm up in Deniliquin, playing in the Murray League with the Rams up there. And Newtown thought he was coming back, and St. Joeys pulled the rug from underneath them. And Mackay's now got a shot at goal, and he's drilled it, has he? Yes. Great finish from Angus Mackay, and look at them come to him after the quarter-time siren. So a nice bit of momentum for Joeys going into the first change as they take a little buffer. After a bit of an arm wrestle, they lead by 5, 3-1-19. South Barwon, 2-2-14. It's quarter time at McDonald Reserve on Anzac Day. We'll take a break, come back and review that opening quarter of football from the home of the Swans. It's St Joseph's by 5 points. Thanks to Epco Cafe 24/7 and the all-new Chimichanga Jaffle. Good breathe, Carol footy.
Geelong's favourite way to wake up. Tom, Lingy and Lockie.
was pretty chaotic. Footy's a chaotic game. I thought both defences were on top. Lots of good contests. Not too much skill early to be expected. It's community footy being played in front of a whole lot of people. A little bit of nerves out there, but it's enjoyable.
Good luck for the rest of the game.
Mark Neal there. Thank you to Neildy. Talking to Jane Birch for Geelong Sports Medicine Centre. That hydrotherapy pool, I reckon I've just got a little bit of a sore back at the moment, so I might be heading down to see Nick just to get a bit of a tune up at Geelong Sports Medicine Centre, your ultimate destination for health, fitness and recovery. Crowd just making their way, and it is a big crowd. I reckon we'll be running long today because once they break from the huddles, then you've got to get everybody off the ground, and by the time they finally do that, we'll, because the crowd have actually crept onto in front of the signs, and that's where the umpires actually want them behind the fence. That's
how many people are over the other side on the centre wing there?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
They're 10 deep.
Hope you're enjoying the call through KROC 955 and KROCfootball.live, as well as AFLBarwon.com.au. So we are just waiting for the signal to get going. Second quarter for Harvey Norman, Corio and Warren Ponds. Here's Jason Doherty.
Ryan Bell and Ollie Northam, who gets it down from the first ruck contest. Madigan, though, who gets a clearing kick as he did in the first term, goes towards centre half forward. Swans moving it quickly across the half forward flank. Chain of handballs comes towards James. Kick was partly smothered. Falls into the arms, though. The ball came to Johnny Broughton, who goes short with the kick. He was looking for Noble, but it was chopped off. Jack Buckley has taken the saving mark for St.Joeys in the last line of defence.
How good was Buckley's first quarter as he trots off across the face of his defensive goal with a casual bounce and then kicks into the right back pocket with a well-weighted ball that lands on the chest of teammate. It might be Hocking there. Hocking, that's a skew with kick that Caldo cleans up for South Barwon. His handball to Jure. Jure was held without the footy umpire. Umpire said play on. Alex Hickey, handball back inboard. Asked it a lot of McLaughlin, who's dumped in a tackle by Madigan, but Northam, the loose footy. Quick handball forward, Mullen. Now, there's a whistle gone. Which way is it going? It's coming back, a high free kick going to the Will-o'-the-Wisp, Max McLaughlin, who looks like he needs a good feed. We might take him down to KFC and get him that cheapest chips feast.
Gives it away by hand to the skipper again. He's definitely getting a game next week.
Yeah,
that's twice now. Goes to Hickey, who goes to half forward with the kick. Pressure from the St.Joeys forwards. Hunter Lewis put the tackle on, kept the ball at 50 for the visitors, so we'll have a ball up. Pack developed around him. Bell's going to come in and do the ruck work against Northam, who goes up way too early. Bell got it down. Antonak across there, can't take it. Lewis picked it up well. Oh, and then got one high. And Doyle Madigan told him all about it too. Doyle Madigan looked like he's been to Coachella, I'll tell you, with the way he's going with the hair and the mustachio and everything. The ball comes over the back for St.Joeys. Fraser Ford on the last line of defence. Got it away by hand to Hutchinson. The kick wasn't good. Henderson got a bit of time and space. Runs inside 40. Left foot kick and kicks the goal. Lammy's Tavern goal, the day contender from Felix Henderson. He just worked his way around on his left boot. I reckon South Barwon thought he was going to come back on his right, and he just drilled it straight through the middle. And St.Joeys start this second term with a goal through Felix Henderson. 4-1-25. They lead South Barwon 2-2-14. Harvey Norman KROC first quarter scoreboard.
Well, mentioned it in the call in the first quarter that Fraser Fort's role is to roll behind the ball. Fraser Fort saved the ball that come out the back, but he forgot about his opponent, which was a winger sitting at 40, which is Felix Henderson, who goes back and kicks a goal once the ball was exited. It's a real fine line when you're playing that wing to roll behind the ball and defend, but you've got to obviously man up on your own opponent when he's sitting at 40 inside the forward 50.
Lead by 11 for a second time this afternoon. Northam got high-fisted at forward, but Bell might actually do the roving and eluded a would-be tackler and drive South Barwon into attack. Wanted Caldo, knocked away by Hocking, was good defensive play. Chance now for O'Dwyer, a handball out the side door towards the boundary line. Al Hickey trying to track it. He's dragged down by Urquhart and taken out of bounds for a boundary throw-in in the left forward pocket. Clevo or old Geelong Tech School end of the ground. Good crowd. Cars backed up, people sitting in boots and hatches. Tapped down by Callett in the ruck for South Barwon, but the bobbling ball's going to end up in the hands of Harry Smith, who's then taken in a really good tackle by Sammy James. And we'll get a ball up about 45 out from the South Barwon goal. They trail 2-2-14, St. Joseph's 4-1-25, and we've ticked over 3.5 minutes on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock. There is no better way to travel to the footy than Port Phillip Ferries, their Sunday footy special for Geelong and Essendon.
It's the ball from the ruck contest. Northam did some handy work. Antonak gets the clearing kick, but I think he's put that into Reynolds Road. That is very wide, and Jake Peters is going to take the resultant free kick for South Barwon at left half forward. No, it's not. It's going to come back. I think Fraser Duray's got it now. Peters tried to grab it from him. He's going to drive it long inside 50 again. Bosley goes up, can't take the mark. Front and centre was pretty good, but I think missing, and I think that might have been Broughton, was it?
Noble.
It was. Noble.
Lively.
3 for 1 behind.
Interesting, Jace. First out in the full for the day.
Yes. Yes, you like keeping
another
that stat, don't you?
The curse higher.
So South Barwon 2-3-15, St Joeys 4-1-25. Harvey Norman, K-Rock, second quarter scoreboard.
Buckley runs into the right back pocket, has a bounce, and will look to drive St Joseph's out of defence towards the outer side half-back flank, flying, and De Grande, Hamlin hanger contender, climbed high at the back, and then on the juggle on the way down, took a really nice grab. Haven't caught a lot of him as he gives it off to Muhor. Kick towards right half forward. Oscar Morrison playing forward as marked. And he's got options tearing forward, including Henderson. Sends it inside forward 50 now. Henderson, little nudge on Fort. And there's going to be a free kick for a block in the marking contest. And I reckon it might be going to Mullen. Fort got the nudge.
He copped a big
from
nudge.
Henderson, but maybe coming from the other side, Mullins copped a body potentially there.
Well, it was a domino effect, Kingy. I think the push caused the block.
Maybe Starkey kept Mullen from the contest. Either way, this is for a 16-point St Joseph's lead. Man on the mark, 20 out directly in front, and Mullen has, he's missed, I reckon. No, he's just snuck it in. Bit of theatrics from the goal umpire, working hard to his left. But he's kicked his first of the afternoon, Jack Mullen. They make it second, in fact. Actually, no, first. I was right the first time. I've got all these asterisks in the goals column, and that's completely thrown me. 5-1-31 St Joseph's on the K-Rock Harvey Norman scoreboard. Think Harvey Norman for all the big brands at Geelong's best prices. South Barwon 2-3-15, and for the Sporting Globe, Matthew Kershaw.
Well, what made us think that Jack Mullen had missed that then is because he didn't celebrate and go absolutely chichi bananas. He sort of was.
The crowd down these ends not as much as the other end anyway.
Exactly.
So back to the middle. Madigan again over the top of it for South Barwon. He can't take it, and he's pushed off the ball, but Swans have got the numbers, and they break free from the back end of the centre square, and the ball came from Noble, but turned over, and again across half-back Buckley for St Joeys takes the mark. Gives it to Al Hickey. He wants a game next week too, Buckley. I think he might get one. He goes to the outer side with the kick. They've switched the ball. Dwyer takes it. He chips the ball over the top. Camerick. Back end of the centre square at half-back, right on the point of it. He handballs it over the top. Following it up and running free was Al Hickey.
Give him the middle now.
From centre wing, goes out wide with the kick. Half volley kick. Mackay around the corner. Lewis, can he keep it in? No, he can't. And he nearly falls over the boundary umpire.
No, I think he's just making sure.
Oh, Hunter Lewis. He's just exchanging phone numbers with Jake Peters.
Yeah, see how you going.
Boundary throw in, right half forward for the Joeys.
From behind, Bell won the tap down. Muhor did the roving, a handball back to Camerick. Taken high. Antonak will get a free kick, surely. Yes. No. It'll come back. He did cop one around the ears. And Louis Antonak made his VFL debut for the Pussycats last weekend. A 50-metre penalty, and this will be for a 22 points in Joseph's lead.
What was that for? Did you kick it away or mouth, was it? Yes.
Might have been a little bit of dissent from Doyle Madigan, potentially. He makes his way from the ground. He's worked very hard through the opening first quarter and a bit. Louis Antonak played in the Cats VFL win over Werribee last week, back this week in the red, gold and black, and he's kicked the 6th of the afternoon for St Joseph's, who have just stolen a bit of a march early in this second term thanks to Harvey Norman. St Joseph's go to 6-1-37. They lead South Barwon on the K-Rock second quarter Harvey Norman scoreboard 2-3-15.
It's really swung around here, Jace, because the first quarter looked like South Barwon going their forward line. They looked real dangerous. They're smalls. Now put it in St Joseph's forward line. They look dangerous. Looks like they're going to score every time they go in there because they're working extra hard. Fall of the ball. Their bigs are doing their job. So, yeah, it's really swung around here, momentum in forward lines.
Northam going to the forward line too with Mackay in the ruck against Bell. And impact develops in the middle. Madigan off the ground, so James looks like he was hunting the football there against Owen. Now Bell gets it down with the left fist. Camrick runs back and gives it away. St. Joeys across half-back, dangerous, falls towards Mulroney. He can't take it. El Hickey comes across. Pick up by Camrick, went to butter up. Oh, geez, tried to get half a trip for Mulroney as well. The ball spills free. They're running through the middle, Joeys. They've got the numbers, and luckily, because the ball spilt free in the end, Buckley has to go back and pick it up, and does. Gets around a couple of would-be tacklers and gets it out wide to El Hickey again. Running off half-back, the Joeys. They go towards Morrison at half-forward, who's presented once again at centre-half forward.
Morrison inside forward 50. It's a well-weighted kick, and he finds Jed Warren. And the Shep Bears products, former Murray Bushranger in the Talent League, has marked 35 out. And this for a 28-point lead, and some real warning sirens going off in the South Barwon coaches box.
We've been going 9 minutes, Kingy, and El Hickey's had 8 possessions.
He's having a stunning afternoon so far, the Joey skipper. From 40 metres out. Oh, that's an absolute mung from Jed Warren. He has barely actually covered the distance to put it out on the full. And a real bullet dodge there for South Barwon as Jed Warren. That's one he's not going to want to be watching back as Todd White takes a resultant free kick in the left back pocket for South.
He does. He goes outside 50, but Mackay stands his ground, takes the mark in front of Ben Callis. And we'll drive it back inside 50 towards John Oates. Hennessy goes up. He can't take the mark. Off the side of the pack. De Grandi. Handball on the outside. Here he is again. Hennessy kick towards the top of the square. Goff in the middle. Morrison. Hamlet Hanger. 3 around him. South Barwon. And Oscar Morrison stood tall and took the mark and will shoot the goal from 20 out directly in front.
Just watch Jack Mullen here. I saw him at the break getting some work done on his upper leg, whether it was hamstring or a corky.
A bit there.
Yeah, I just saw him grimace then as he went down. So there's one to watch, Birchie.
That's actually taped too for St. John of God.
So potentially a corky, you'd hope, but he doesn't look like he's moving all that well.
So Oscar Morrison, 20 out, northern end. Oh, geez, he made the goal umpire work too much, way too much. They've missed that. Golden opportunity again for the visitors, 6-2-38.
Is a defender by trade.
He is, and we know on days like today, you've really got to make those ones count, particularly within that close range.
Peters short kick in, marked by White for South Barwon. He goes short. They stay in the corridor to Goff. Handball to Peters, cruising past. Kick towards half-back. Will make Jarray work. Kept it alive? No. Had no room to work with. And Al Hickey may be just inquiring of the umpire, did he really try to keep that alive or not? Umpire says, I've got no issue with that. I'll toss her back into play. Right in front of the St. Joseph's interchange bench.
Got a +1 at this stoppage, South Barwon.
Fort winning the tap down. Madigan tracking the footy, also looking to his hands on it, Mulroney, but Madigan did in the end. He's taken down in a really good tackle and going nowhere. We'll get a ball up. Who laid that tackle? It was O'Dwyer, who's been a handy re-inclusion after missing the win over St Mary's last week. Ball up. Fort maybe winning the tap this time. Here's Owen on his non-preferred left, jamming it on the boot, and it's going to roll towards the boundary line and out, and that's a good result for Joeys as they get a stoppage at true centre wing. Port Phillip Ferries time clock gone 12 minutes in this second quarter. Port Phillip Ferries, there's no better way to travel to the footy.
Just keeping an eye on Jack Mullen down there. He's struggling big time in the 10-metre square. Deep forward. Mackay from the ruck contest got it down to James Hickey. His handball chopped off though by Fort. Goes with a rugby-style kick towards half forward. Punched away from behind by Al Hickey again against Lockie Noble. And we'll have a boundary throw in right half forward.
It's sort of like Michael Liner out the back of the...
He just sort of picked it up and
at the back of the scrum.
One-handed torpedo from Fraser Fort. He's going down to do the ruck work too now. Having a run against Mackay in the ruck for South Barwon, and he gets it down to the front as well. James ripped off the football. The umpire says holding the ball. Geez, he's been quick on that today. Didn't really have it that long, Sammy James. But the free kick's going to come back and St. Joeys are going to take it. Mackay has the free kick at half-back for the visitors. He is taking his time, called to play on now. Comes broadcast side. From behind, Morrison has to make up a bit of ground to Grandy. The middle, Madigan's front and centre was great. He gets wrapped up, though, by James Hickey over the shoulder, said the umpire. Free kick, South Barwon. It's going to come back to Doyle Madigan.
Torquay product, comes laterally to the wing, and Starkey's got it. Starkey wants to go to the outer side of the ground where providing some run is White. He'll kick on his non-preferred left. It's a bit of a floater, but it's okay. Finds its intended target, and the kick inside forward 50 comes from Urquhart. It's a long ball, and Bosley on an imposing lead, marks on the chest. Great ball from Urquhart. He got really good purchase on it, kicked it to the advantage of Bosley to run onto it into the scoreboard pocket. And a much-needed shot at goal coming. Urquhart presents to Bosley, but Bosley's having none of that. Coming off 50 goals last year, the former Hawthorn-listed big man. He'll have a shot at goal from about 45 out, maybe a little bit closer. Left forward pocket, Clairvaux into the ground. Not much of a run-up. Gets really good purchase and has kicked a wonderful goal. That's why he wasn't passing it off to Zach Urquhart. Lammy's Tavern goal of the afternoon contender from Andrew Bosley, and a much-needed one just stops the little momentum that St Joseph's have had either side of quarter time. Margin back to 17. South Barwon on the K-Rock. Harvey Norman second quarter scoreboard. 3-3-21. St Joseph's a 6-2-38.
It was a bit better ball movement by South Barwon because they owned the outside then. They used the width of the ground. They switched the play well, and then they come on the other side and entered in their forward line. And apt timing for Bosley to take his first mark of the game.
Buzz has just sent a nice little comment on the private K-Rock Twitter. That missed by a mile. I'm right behind it. So anyway, there you go. Back to the middle.
Well, he didn't celebrate. That was
Joeys,
a funny thing.
Yeah, Northam under pressure. Has to ride the bump. That's holding the ball. The umpire said play on. He was very lucky there. Got it away towards Hickey. South Barwon working overtime, but it's gone towards half forward now through James Hickey. Inside 50. Old Mullen gave a push behind. Umpire said play on. And he wasn't doing anything else but just standing there and hoping the ball was going to fall into his arms, I think.
Yeah, because he couldn't go up with him and compete because of that leg. So that's going to be a real issue for them going into the second half of the game.
Why would you
Get him off the ground, more damage? Yeah. Boundary throw in, about 45 around for the St Joeys goal.
But they do have a good medical staff, St Joey, so they do know what they're doing. Boundary throw in, tapped down by Northam. Chance for James Hickey. Had nearly a fresh area, but the ball did spill for Antonac.
No way! No way!
Louis Antonac from the cricket net pocket kicks an absolute cracker from 40 out.
Wow.
The second is the Lammy's Tavern goal of the afternoon. Good luck beating that. Lammy's open Friday to Sunday from 9 p.m. with happy hour and free entry before 10 p.m. and that restores a 23-point buffer on the K-Rock Harvey Norman scoreboard.
It's funny, they missed 2 goals from 25 metres in front, and Louis Antonac produces something special. And over at the cricket nets, he did not miss one person with that celebration. And it was fantastic.
Lammy's might open tonight, especially for Louis.
I think they might as well. Tuesday night, get down there, Louis. Oh, that was fantastic goal. That was one of the better goals we've seen this year.
So restoring the lead, St Joeys. Back to 23 points of difference. Northam goes up. Bell gets it down. Rove by the last goal scorer. Antonac got it away to James Hickey by hand. He goes towards half forward. Kick off the ground by White. Chopped off though McLaughlin. 60 out from goal into the pocket. Morrison on a lead. Set it out in front of the big fella, and probably from the Antonac pocket. Let's see how Oscar Morrison goes. He'll be standing there for the set shot. About 40 out from goal.
After his last one from 20 metres, he might want to look to pass it off, Jones.
He'll kick this one.
Oh, you're back on him?
Because he'll miss the easy one and kick the hard one.
He's actually a very skillful big man, but his last kick was just a little bit flame.
He's probably probably a 10% thought process here of actually think he's going to kick it. So he goes, and he has kicked a behind, and he was very close.
It was closer than his other one.
Made the goal umpire work. 2 behinds. His tally this afternoon. And they go to 7-3-45. South Barwon 3-3-21.
White short kick in, marked in the right back pocket by Goff, who brings it to our best seats in the house. Rapco Cafe 24/7. Noble call to play on, gave it to Shepherd, who gave a handball to Fort. Fort sends a wonderful kick along the line. That's a well-weighted ball for Geray, who wants to come back in board with his left boot. It's a high floater, looking for Carmody back with the flight. Spoil came from Hocking. Carmody, front of the pack, did the roving, turned and kicked to the right forward pocket. Wanted Urquhart, and it's just beyond his reach and rolls out of bounds for a boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Clairvaux into the ground. Beautiful afternoon here for South Point Garden Supplies. You could not ask for better for a game of football. Barely a breath of wind and sunny conditions. Bell, beautiful tap. Noble, the left foot snap, set play from the boundary throw in, but he got too much pull on the kick and it's knocked through for a minor score. But the deft ruck work there from Bell was nice, but it's knocked through for a behind minor score and the margin 23.
So, St. Joeys from full-back, kick in, short. And to Antonak from Buckley, goes to the middle. Miss Lewis is the target. Bell gets back there. McLaughlin tries to hit it at pace as well. Comes towards Bell. Shuffles it by hand to Peters. Runs through the middle. Thought about the kick. Then went the handball. Probably should have gone the kick. Got thrown out. They've still got the numbers though. The Swans on the outside to Fort. He goes with a right foot kick towards half forward. Big pack there. No mark taken. Noble front and centre was good. Handball on the outside towards Urquhart. Running away from the goal towards the top of the square. Which way is it going to bounce? It bounces through. Oh, there you go. Louis Antonak's just lost the Lambie's 7th goal of the day.
Didn't think it was possible.
Zach Urquhart has just made it. It has bounced on the point of the ball in the goal square and run away, kicked a goal. His first of the afternoon. And
what a cracking
Louis
goal.
Antonak 3 minutes ago, and then Zach Urquhart kicks that. 4-4-28, South Barwon St. Joeys, 7-3-45. Harvey Norman, K-Rock second quarter scoreboard.
Oh, that's a great thing about our game. That ball can bounce anywhere because Joel O'Dwyer had the ball covered. He was just going to wait for it to come back in the air. But last night it was a little bit of off spin and the way it went. What a fantastic goal.
That took the biggest off break of all time.
That's what we love to see.
Back in the middle, Northam's falconed that, and it's fallen at his feet with James and looks like James Hickey in there as well. I think James Hickey for Wombat Gully might be just keeping Sam James company at times.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that Wombat Gully Plant Farm matchup. Umpire puts it into the air. Bell winning the tap down this time. Here's James, lost it in the tackle. Trying to barge his way through, but going nowhere was Kelly O'Neill. Now it falls for Jed Warren. That's a better kick than his last one. High ball. Morrison on the lead. Good spoil, Goff. Goff and then was able to knock it his own advantage, trying to keep it alive. He did very, very well. Now fired a handball forward. Found Geray. Geray was able to stop, turn, steady and kick towards half forward. Back with the flight. Hovey for St. Joseph's. Couldn't get a clean handle on the ball. Handball on the up. Caldu driving it long. Inside forward 50 and all alone out the back. The mark is taken. And a handball over the top from Broughton. Open goal. Beckons and Noble will get back within 11 points, South Barwon. That was well worked, and it all started with the work of Rowan Goff in the one-on-one with Oscar Morrison at half-back. And the margin is back to 11 on the K-Rock Harvey Norman second quarter scoreboard. South Barwon 5-4-34, steadying the ship. St. Joseph 7-3-45 as we go towards 21 minutes played second quarter.
I mentioned that they were a little bit better in that first quarter around the contest, but St. Joseph's were outworking them on the outside. They've really got themselves back into the game around the outside of some stoppages now and some clearances, and they're owning the outside, and that's what's got them back into this game of footy.
I think James Hickey might be on
He's going to Madigan, yeah. I saw that the last three. He's just actually looking for him now. So, and he's kept him quite a little bit quietish.
And there is Madigan, but Northam got a hand to it. Falls towards James on the outside. He can't take it, but kicked it off the ground about 20 metres. Might be okay. Coming the other way, kick was from Hocking. It was a fresh air shot. O'Dwyer off a step towards the middle. Antonak should have taken the chest mark, didn't. Bell got the clearing kick for South Barwon out wide, and Lux of Fortune falls in the arms of Urquhart. 65 out from goal, goes to the pocket, and it's a good kick too. And that was way too easy on the outside, and Carmody's taken the mark in the left forward pocket for South Barwon. Wheels around quickly, right foot kick over his shoulder, and kicks the goal. So his second of the afternoon. And South Barwon making a run late in this second term here at McDonald Reserve. They go to 6-4-40. They close the gap. St. Joeys 7-3-45. Harvey Norman K-Rock second quarter scoreboard.
Well, the last three of South Barwon's goals, Urquhart's been involved. He's kicked that miraculous one, but he's actually been on the outside for the last two, and he was unmanned again then. So he's the one they're really going to have to tighten up on because his work rate up the ground's really good, and he's getting them to the outside, and he's inside 50s, I think, been in the last score involvement. So he's been terrific.
Cracking game of footy for Anzac Day. Just as you thought Joeys were pulling away, got out by 24 points. The margin is back to 5. Bell and Northam in the middle. Bell climbing high, winning the tap down. Surely a free kick for being held.
Who's again?
They're going to Camrick, but it won't now. A chance inside 50 for Urquhart to send the Swans. Bosley back with the flight. Takes a nice mark. Gee, Zach Urquhart. Playing just his 5th GFL senior game. 3 of those with Grovedale back in 2018. Couldn't get a look in at 2 o'clock in 2022. Neildy likes him and we like him.
Yeah, well, Oscar Hocking playing his second game only, or third game only. He's got a bit of work to do here at the moment to tighten up on him.
This for an unlikely South Barwon lead. Bosley has one that we think might have been fortuitously awarded a goal. He's right of centre. Man on the mark, 35 from goal, and Bosley's put the Swans in front. Well, what a transition that has come over this contest. He kicks his second. St Joseph's have stagnated at 7-3-45, and South Barwon have burst to 7-4-46 on the K-Rock second quarter. Harvey Norman scoreboard. We got a cracker here on Anzac Day on K-Rock Footy for APCO Cafe 24/7.
I know we wrapped the kid up, but that's 4 score involvements in a row.
Antoinette kicks a goal and you go, St Joeys are going okay. And then all of a sudden, whack.
Yeah, exactly right.
South Barwon have come back with a flurry.
Dropped right off around their intensity around the contest at the moment, St Joseph's.
So back in the middle, Mackay in the ruck and gets it down to James Hickey. Clearing kick towards centre half forward. Hold, the umpire said. Going to go to Muhor, who was behind in the contest. Play on the call, said the umpire to Grandy. Unlikely, punched away Northam from Fort, who's been moved down back for South Barwon. And things are tied up here at McDonald Reserve. 7-4-46 apiece. Harvey Norman, K-Rock. Second quarter scoreboard.
Fort into the right back pocket. He runs and then brings it towards Bell. O'Neill from behind had to play spoiler, although Bell's claiming the mark. Umpire said play on. He's brought to ground by Owen and going nowhere. We'll get a ball up. So O'Neill and Mackay in a bit of a push and shove. Umpire puts it into the air. Mackay. Bell winning the tap down, doing the roving though. Owen, handball at close quarters to Antonak. Great tackle. Shepherd insured. Antonak wasn't fleeing the scene with the footy, and we'll get a ball up. Austin Shepherd just done a couple of nice things this afternoon. He too, not very experienced, playing just his 5th senior game. Bell from behind, roving James. He's dumped in a really good tackle. And we'll get another stoppage. So just a lull in play for the moment, but it's been frenetic this second quarter where we've seen 9 goals kicked and we're all tied up on the second quarter Harvey Norman scoreboard at 7-4 apiece.
Kai gets it down over the back. Oh, right in the bump. The kick came away quickly from Starkey for South Barwon. Falls backwards. Oh, they're still under pressure. Muhor put a good tackle on, did he? The umpire says, no, it's a hold. And it's going to be a free kick to South Barwon under pressure, James. Hughes was there as well. Muhor gave away the free kick, so South Barwon through James. Good kick, finds Starkey. Finds White. Starkey running past. He elects to go the other way, though. White goes with a long kick towards half forward. Big pack, Bosley, 4th in line, couldn't take it. Josh Hovey tried to tap it to the advantage of his teammate in Hocking. He couldn't pick it up. Ball still in dispute. Hocking comes back to help out. Gave a Shepherd. Handball over the top there away. Antonak takes a bounce in the middle. Short little kick was okay. They got it towards de Grandy. His kick was horrific. Goes to the middle of McDonald Reserve at centre half forward. His work against White was okay. Lewis comes in, put a tackle on. Only half a tackle, got away. And now they're free. Cunningham for South Barwon.
It's a low skidding ball taken nicely by Hughes, who gave a handball out wide, and the kick forward might have been Shepherd looking for Bosley, who's imposing himself on the contest in this second quarter. He swings onto his right boot, left forward pocket, looking for a marking target. Can't find one in Noble. It's off the hands of the pack. Al Hickey with the clearing kick, a high ball. Warren sits under Shepherd from front on. Got a fist on the footy and brought it to ground. Chance now for Mulroney or Duray. Duray it is. He's taken in a tackle going nowhere. And outside 50, left half forward, a ball up. South Barwon in attack with all the momentum. 4 consecutive goals after trailing by 24. Tap down, Callett, quick kick forward, Mulroney didn't go 15, but the hands were clean from Duray, but he handballed it straight to Jack Buckley at St Joseph's. He gave a handball release off. Might be Owen just throwing, or Chaplin throwing it on the boot. Either way, it's out of bounds on the full at true centre wing. The free kick going to the Swans as we roll towards 27 minutes played on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock. Port Phillip Ferries, there's no better way to travel as we just wait for the Sharon to find its way back into the arms of Rowan Goff.
Yes, K-Rock zone on centre wing. Goff measures the pass to half forward, off the number of hands, falls to the back. Again, the ball, Caldu tried to get it away. McLaughlin came back to help out. Al Hickey's handball, outboard to McLaughlin, picked it up. Got the quick kick away under pressure towards Lewis, doesn't sit for him. Goff gets back there to Grandy. Oh, he dropped the football in the tackle. Umpire says play on Antonak. Needs some support. Got the handball out though. And it's all South Barwon through the middle. Jake Peters, handball forward to the footy. Oh, that's high. That's late on Chris Hughes. Should be a free kick down the field. It is. And South Barwon will take it at right half forward.
Mark taken anyway, Jace.
Well, there you go. So,
Guess who?
Is he in trouble? Is Rowan Goff in trouble as K-Rock's own?
Massive chance.
Well, Zach Urquhart has got it. And he goes short. So, measures the pass. and Jake Peters has taken the mark 50 from goal.
He's lost, Jake Peters.
He's a chance to get this back, Urquhart. He's just slowly sneaking. No, he's drifted out.
So Jake Peters, Bannockburn Premiership player in 2019. Has it in front of a very big crowd here at McDonald Reserve. It's just clouded over slightly, but weather still fine and the flags barely fluttering. The Australian New Zealand flags on the social club, and Peters showing why he spends most of his time in the back half of the ground. He's put that out on the full to the near side. It never looked like it. And it'll be a free kick to St. Joseph's, and Jack Buckley is the man on the spot there to try and steady the ship. He goes short and he finds Camerick, who we haven't caught as much of this afternoon as we did against North Shore back on opening day. He goes laterally to Hovey, one of the handful of remaining premiership players at the club. He goes across the face to another one of those in Al Hickey, skipper. He well waits a kick to Chaplin, who marks in front of where the old scoreboard used to reside here at South Barwon. And then there's a little short kick. There's Chaplin again, and he goes to Al Hickey, and geez, Hickey's just racking it up, and if we were to play a draw, maybe he's winning the medal. He comes inboard to his brother. Oh, geez, some interesting move from Kelly O'Neill. Sees Hickey on his back. He's paid the mark, gets to his feet. He comes laterally to Buckley, who had to be strong in the hands as he was confronted by Carmody. Hit the ground running and hits up McLaughlin.
He does, who takes a good mark overhead, gives it away to Buckley, who followed it up. Terrible kick inside 50. Real worm burner at the back, South Barwon. Back to whence it came, top of the half-forward line. Oh, one-hander. And that's Hocking, I think, who got it in the end.
That's 50, actually.
And then he gets a left foot wide towards Henderson. Has to make up a bit of ground. He can't take the mark. Needs some support or the boundary line. He finds the boundary line right in front of the best seats in the house, thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7. All locked up, Anzac Day, 7:46 apiece.
About to tick over half an hour played on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock.
Like I said before, please.
It's waiting for the crowd to be behind the fence, not under it. Boundary throw in. Mackay and Kellett, no clear winner. Mackay took it after it bounced, gave a handball to James Hickey, who fumbled, time to recover, tried to fire a handball to Owen, but missed him. Mulroney, handball back, Urquhart. Neat little kick, but didn't get to Shepherd. It's stolen by James Hickey, who on the bounce sends it to Northam. Northam spins out of a fort tackle and kicks a wonderful goal. What a finish from Ollie Northam. That's a contender for a Lammy's Tavern goal of the afternoon. He was in a one-on-one with Fort, and he just did a little shimmy to his left, able to get some separation, snapped over his left shoulder, finished nicely, the big man, and St. Joseph's go back to the lead. 8-4-52, South Barwon, 7-4-46, second quarter. K-Rock, Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Well, we know he's very mobile, Ollie. He's averaging a goal a game at the moment in these 3 games, but to have the luxury of Mackay doing the ruck work there and winning the ruck work, getting the clearance himself, and then having Ollie down forward, it's a luxury to have.
Back in the middle, Camerick roved beautifully off Mackay, breaks free, right foot kick inside 50 again to Grande. Can't take it, Northam and McLaughlin there close to the boundary line. Northam had it, lost it, needs to get it back, can't do so. Boundary line beat him to it, and it will be a throw-in. St. Joeys into attack, 35 around from their goal. Possibly a late chance. There we played 31 and a half second term, Port Phillip Ferries time clock. And Bell in front, Northam from behind, tapped on by Owen. Getting across there was Hughes for South Barwon, dumped straight away. The umpire says, throw it in again, thanks. We'll have another boundary throw in.
10-goal quarter.
Oh, it's been action-packed.
This quarter's nearly as good as the games we've seen this year, Jace.
Yeah.
Just this quarter.
Yes. Ball back into play. Northam favoured by the throw-in. Double palm down to James Hickey. A high-floating kick for St. Joey's inside forward 50, but Madigan's there trying to burst away. Got a kick away that eluded Bell. Picked up nicely by Caldo, and the skipper for South Barwon gives it back by hand to Bell. Oh, wonderful tackle. James Hickey took him out of bounds. He hung on for the ride there. James Hickey was fighting out of his weight division.
He was looking for the try line.
It was sort of super heavyweight versus cruiserweight there, and the cruiserweight won.
So Bell in front, got it down to the front as well. Sam James, kick around the corner towards centre wing. Handball from O'Dwyer to Al Hickey, back inside 50 to Grandy. Put the hands up, siren sounds, half time. Anzac Day at McDonald Reserve. We've got a good one here. 8-4-52 St. Joey's. They lead South Barwon 7-4-46.
5 goals apiece in that second term. Joey's got out to a 24-point buffer. Then South reeled off 4 consecutive goals to take back the lead by a point, but a wonderful piece of work from young big man Ollie Northern put St Joseph's back in front by a kick at the main break. We'll head down boundary side. Jane Birch is just loitering with intent to hopefully have a chat to somebody before we go to the break. Birchie, down to you in front of what is a very, very big crowd here at McDonald Reserve on Anzac Day. Down to you, Birchie.
It is a big crowd and they're all streaming.
Mackay coming to the bench, along with Jed Warren and also Chaplin for St Joseph's, and they'll join Jack Mullen, who of course is battling that hamstring issue. We'll keep an eye on some Wombat Gully Plan Farm matchups. Morrison going forward again for St Joseph's, which is a, well, we know he can take a mark, but obviously as we see Jack Mullen, he's just limping in front of us here with that hamstring very heavily iced, and hopefully it's not too serious. Harrison White is a concern for Grovedale, we understand. That's going to have some weeks attached to it, potentially 6 to 8, which is a massive blow for the Tigers. So we hopefully will be seeing him at some stage, but he just creates so much run and carry for Grovedale. So sirens going off in the background, hopefully nothing too serious with that.
Just a quick change down back. Jack Buckley's going to Urquhart, so...
And Cocking's got Caldu, which would be a big ask for the young man for Wombat Gully. Third quarter for Geelong Bank. Here's Jace.
Northam got it down. Hunter Lewis came off the line at half forward to try and take it with him. Madigan over the top of it as well, left it. Northam wrapped up by his opposite number, Bell. Mulroney's handball towards Hughes, who came off the wing. Got tripped over by his teammate. Ball still spills free towards James, who gets the handball on the outboard. Might be okay if Duray can pick it up. He can now, and he breaks free. Right half forward, 55 out, gets it in. Broughton got a hand to it. Tried to tap it to his own advantage. Then he picked it up, then he get wrapped up, not going anywhere. Good defensive pressure that came there from you-know-who.
Yep.
Al Hickey, and it will be a ball up 45 out from the South Barwon goal.
Nice little match up there as well, Broughton and Hickey.
Tapped down by Callett. Antonak tracking the footy, couldn't take it cleanly. Hughes for South Barwon. Tried to just shovel it into the path of Noble. Broughton, good pick up. Tried to step through Al Hickey. Then his kick smothered by James Hickey. Al Hickey dived on the loose footy. And then it spilled out for Buckley, but the umpire had blown the whistle just as Buckley was decamping the scene. And we'll get a ball up. If one Hickey doesn't get you, the other will. They work in combination. It's not quite the Cray brothers, Chris and Brad Scott style, but they do make life absolutely a nightmare for opposition forwards. A tumbling punt from Al Hickey went looking for Muhor. Ricocheted off his boot back towards Duray. He's dumped by Muhor in a tackle going nowhere, and 40 out from the South Barwon goal. We'll get a ball up. They trail by 6. Joey's 52, South Barwon 46 on the K-Rock. Third quarter, Geelong Bank scoreboard.
Callett, Northern pushes him out of the way, gets a double fist up. Muhor, pushed Duray over and also kicked him in the head nearly. He just went straight through him, and Geordie Muhor was going, I don't know whether I did, but the umpire said, yes, you did. And Duray will take the free kick, and we'll have a set shot for goal from 50 out, 45-degree angle.
Fancies himself from here, Jace.
He does. He went back very deliberately, didn't he?
Said, I've got this.
Wasn't going to pass it to anybody.
No chance.
And no real South Barwon movement in the forward line either, so I think they think he can get the distance as well.
They know something we don't.
Yep. Might do this at Thursday night training, does he? He comes in, right foot kick, and has got the distance just, but accuracy misses to the far side and through for one behind. The first score of the third term here at McDonald Reserve. And 7-5-47, South Barwon 8-4-52. St Joeys, Geelong Bank, K-Rock, third quarter scoreboard.
Camerick kicked to Hickey, gave it back to Camerick, and now sends it on to Owen. Owen's kick to Hennessy is nice. Hennessy, a handball inboard. Point of the square right, half back to Smith. Smith to Antonak. Antonak to James Hickey. Hickey through the centre wicket area. Drives a kick inside, forward 50. Good build-up, but back with the flight. Starkey judged it nicely. Not a great kick coming in from Hickey. The corridor he wants, and he's got White still inside defensive 50. He now averts his gaze towards the outer side of the ground, and it's a poor kick. He wanted Duray, but Northam judged it best and used his own ability to cut across and take the mark, and he has it at left half forward. Northam sends St Joseph's inside forward 50. Morrison put his hands up. Ball was spoiled away, and it's now out of bounds for a boundary thrown. Right next to the left-hand behind post at the Clairvaux or southern end of the ground, the 10-pin bowling end of the ground, the old Leisure Link end of the ground.
Correct.
It's got plenty of names. Here's Jason Doherty in the third
South
quarter.
Barwon Secondary College too, Tom.
It was between the Tech and Clairvaux.
Yes, boundary throw in. Morrison got it to the front. Now South Barwon got the numbers just to get the ball free. Goes out wide. The ball came from Hutchinson. Still in dispute now. They get it, South Barwon get it long. Outside 50 kick is pretty wide and just in the field of play.
It touched off the boot,
was it? It was touched off the boot. So we're going to have a boundary throw in on centre wing on the outer side. So the Swans have moved it around outside their defensive zone. Short little boundary throw in. Callett got it away. Duray off the left foot towards half forward with the kick. In front, Noble can't take it. Hocking off a step. Left foot kick. Terrible off the boot, but works okay. Hunter Lewis.
Lewis on his left sends it wide to a one-on-one. Morrison in front, spoil from behind. Hutchinson, then he tracked the loose footy and kicks wide, and it's a well-weighted kick, and it lands on the chest of James, who's been good this afternoon. Along the line, Urquhart, who's been really good. And he's a great story, Zach Urquhart. I think we'll be talking about him a little bit in season 2023. The man on the mark is Buckley. Kicks it high over his head to a one-on-one, but it's over the head of both Bosley and Hovey, and taking it safely on the chest is Chaplin, or O'Dwyer, who goes back to his defensive goal squad, Alex Hickey, who has a bounce that nearly didn't come back to him the way he would have liked. Now he's got to stop and prop, and then he kicks back to about 20 out from his defensive goal, from the right back pocket to almost the hot spot, and then he goes short to Hocking, and then he goes short to O'Dwyer, and he kicks outside defensive 50. Dropping what he should have taken, I think, was Harry Smith. That's going to open the door potentially for South, although he's helped out by a teammate in Buckley who got one in the back or high. He'll take a free kick at the top of the field, the 50-metre arc at left half back. But, gee, that was nearly disaster there with that drop mark.
Sure was.
So Buckley from half back towards the middle of the ground. Oh, third in line, Fraser Fort. His name written on it. Oh, switches the play. Dangerous kick, might be okay. Far enough for Broughton, who took the mark inside the centre square. Plays on quickly, wants to get it going towards Bosley. Got a couple on him in front. Mark taken. Joel O'Dwyer just backed himself and took the mark in front of Bosley. Kirsch is coaching from the box. He wants people to move.
Yeah, there was no movement anywhere on the ground.
Now the ball over the top. Smith has to get around. Duray does so. Shows him a clean pair of heels. Gets it away by hand towards McLaughlin. That came from Buckley. He goes towards centre wing. Crowd to loose man to Lewis. Past Fort. Right on centre wing. Goes long. Inside. Half forward. Getting back there, Morrison. Oh, over the back third in line. If you don't worry about it, is Hennessy, who just tracked the ball beautifully, running back from half forward and took the mark, and will have a set shot for goal from about 48 metres out in front of the scoreboard. Left half forward, southern end of the ground.
Quickly turned his back, Hennessy.
He did. He's a lovely kick of the ball, but you said it, Jace, there was no movement. Maybe fatigue is starting to creep in, trying to make the ground big and spread it and open it up the corridor or things like that. So it seems to be going out of the game a little.
John Oates comes in, kicks a goal! Holly Hennessy kicks his second of the afternoon.
That's what he can do.
And that's why he turned his back on everybody. He went, no, I'm doing this. I'm going to kick the goal. And he does. He kicks his second. And St.Joeys, they finally get the first of this third term. 9-4-58, South Barwon 7-5-47. Geelong Bank K-Rock third quarter scoreboard.
I know we talk about Buckley and Hickey and how good they've been down there, but Joel O'Dwyer's been really good too. He's taken a few intercept marks. He's been getting involved, and he's defended the last three entries really well. So he also has been crucial down there for rebounding out of their back half and getting it through the mids to their forwards.
Essendon 3-2, lead Collingwood 1-4. Gee, if the Bombers were to win, that sets up a mouth-watering Sunday afternoon clash between the Cats and the Bombers in the country game. Callett to do the ruck work in the middle. Northern climbing high. They nullify each other. It falls for Antonak, though, and he's able to burst away a little bit too easily around Duray. Kick inside, forward 50. It's a high, long ball. Good defensive spoil from Goff. Knocked it towards the boundary line. Tracking it is Fort. He used a good bit of mobility there to kick the ball on his left boot towards Madigan. Madigan is a chance to get it off towards Fort. Fort snaps a kick around the body and taken there by Antonak, who marks on his chest just to send Joey's back into forward 50.
Plays on, runs around the man on the mark, goes long with the right foot kick towards the pocket. Goff punched away, good defensive play, pass for Hennessy, and sees it over the boundary line defensively for the home side. So we'll have a boundary throw in deep forward for St.Joeys.
Probably put himself under unnecessary pressure then, Antonak playing on. He probably could have got it to the mouth of the goals rather than deep in the pocket.
So throw in. Morrison tries to take it out of the ruck contest. De Grande got the handball over the top to Camerick. Tries to get around Madigan. Got the handball free. Morrison back to Camerick on the boundary line. Little bit of candy if you don't mind, and misses. 3 for 1 behind.
Calf was all right then, Jace?
Calf was okay when you're 20 metres out from goal. Don't worry about that, Kirsch.
Kicking a banana.
Yes, a banana. 9-5-59 St. Joey's, South Barwon 7-5-47. Geelong Bank K-Rock third quarter scoreboard.
Kick in to the right back pocket, marked by Starkey. He goes short and finds a marking target in Cunningham. Cunningham goes short to White. White Has about 30 from his defensive goal, but nothing really presenting. Bosley's going to have to be the out here potentially if he brings a broadcast side, and that's the way he's going to come now. It's a low ball. It does Goff no favours, though. He takes it on the bounce, does okay. Got around Mackay and gave a handball to Ford. Ford sort of Gaelicked it, sort of one hand up, then hacked it forward. Bosley with the one hand took the mark, and that'll be 50, I reckon. Well, Bosley's claimed the mark. It was a good one too, a Hamlin hanger contender with the 1 mitt. Now a floater, but it's going to get to its intended target, and Starkey's got Peters out wide. It's a kick that's partially smothered. It'll find its way there. Handball, James, bang! Hickey could have picked him off, but didn't. He affected the handball though, Muir. Handball back to Hovey, but Hovey's turned it over. Kellett, quick release. Madigan, 55 out, finds the target. Noble, who marks 40 from goal. And we'll have a shot to pull the margin back to 6 points. Oh, James Hickey could have put Sam James somewhere into 2026.
Fairly too,
yeah.
But you don't want to see that these days.
No, that's something that's gone out of our game. But geez, in the old days, that was
gone.
That's your old-fashioned hospital arrangement.
It certainly was.
Lockie Noble for his second, and to cut the margin back to 6. Starts it right, works it back. Nice finish from the former Mottawarri product. He's got his second of the afternoon. He's got 92 now at GFL senior level. And the margin is 6 on the K-Rock. Third quarter, Geelong Bank scoreboard. Geelong Bank's 1-2 home loan. 1% less for 2 years. South Barwon 8.553. St Joseph's 9.559. And in the experts chair, thanks to the Sporting Globe, here is Matt Kershaw.
Well, after that little tackle, hip and shoulder, whatever you call it, there was just 2 turnovers for St Joseph's, and someone like Dor Madigan with ball in hand, he's not going to waste it, that's for sure. So just the fatiguey kick from Hovey there, just back to the opposition, and they got an easy entry inside forward 50.
Back to the middle. Kellett having a run in the ruck and gets it down as well towards O'Neill. His handball running off half back. White kick was smothered by Northam and did the second effort as well and got the handball away. Henderson thought about the handball, went the kick, probably should have gone the handball because it's been turned over. Cunningham takes the mark. He gets it out wide. And now Hughes from centre wing inside 50. Was that a push? The umpire said no. Play on. Goes towards Carmody in the Antonac pocket. Gets around towards Bosley and also towards Broughton. And they raffle it. Johnny Broughton takes the mark. 20 metres out directly in front. And good play on the up there by Carmody to bring it back in. So Johnny Broughton, who hasn't troubled the scorers yet this afternoon, you'd think he would.
We've seen 2 misses from there today.
Yes, we have. This to, again, bring the scores back level. Northern end of the ground, Johnny Broughton. Comes in, right foot kick, kicks the goal. His first 9-5-59 apiece here at McDonald Reserve, Geelong Bank K-Rock. Third quarter scoreboard in the expert chair. Thanks to the Sporting Globe. Watch every Cats home and away game at the Sporting Globe Geelong. Here's Matt Kershaw.
Another goal from turnover, Jace. So it was a turnover in the corridor. Henderson tried to weave an impossible kick out to the half-forward flank, but it was cut off by their defending winger rolling back, and away they went inside forward 50 again to an easy mark inside forward 50. So we're going to see that a bit, I think, with that fatigue setting in as we spoke about, and just that turnover is really going to hurt you because you're caught out of position and you haven't got that energy to keep pushing back defensively.
Umpire tosses it into the air. Mackay got high, maybe on the tap down. James Hickey, the roving, to the voice of Warren on the near side wing, confronted by Fort, but looped it over the top to Northam. Northam hacks a kick inside forward 50. Good spoil by Goff, but it's going to be cleaned up at the front by Hannessy. His handball was partially smothered, was good work. Might have been Duray, and then through traffic, he kicks to the wing looking for Big Bell. Couldn't hang on to the mark. Mackay front on, did okay to spoil it. Bosley head over it in the loose footy. Took it well off his bootlaces and then ran into a 2-man tackle, Warren and Mackay. Saying you're going nowhere, and we'll get a ball up true centre wing, broadcast side.
Bell gets it down. Road Muirhaw got it. He's on hands and knees out to get the handball out. Mackay, he gets ripped off the football, gets a hold. He gets smashed into a South Barwon player as well on centre wing. And it's going to come back to Mackay. It's Kelly O'Neill in the hands of the trainers. Oh, Angus Mackay kicked. He dubbed the the little pitching wedge there, and it goes in. Is that holding the ball? It is.
Forgot he was a ruckman, Dave.
Short little kick, and tried to get it to Oscar Morrison, who got wrapped up straight away. And the Swans are going to take the free kick back into centre wing and drill the ball back towards half forward. Chaplin uses the body beautifully for Al Hickey to just take an uncontested mark at half back, right in front of the best seats in the house, thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7.
At right half back, it's a high helicopter kick. Fort best placed underneath it. He couldn't mark. The hands of the pack to Grandy, dragged down as he kicked. It was a good tackle by Shepherd, and it forced a turnover to Goff, and Goff now to centre half back. James, oh, well done, Lewis, front on, was able to spoil, and then found the loose footy. Handball, Antonak. Antonak to the leading Camerick. Had a little bit too much on it. At the back, Starkey. Fort fighting for it for South Barwon. Somehow shoveled it out. Hughes at right half back, and they can build. Chance to run. Starkey with a bounce. Oh, it didn't come back to him. In fact, it's White, and it did in the end. Now he kicks towards Fort 50, and he's put it straight onto the chest. It's like there's a magnet on the ball, and the other magnet on the ground belongs to Al Hickey.
He takes the mark, and he gets it to, who knows, his brother, James, who they've waxed lyrical a bit today. He gets it out wide.
You won't see that, but Antonak's chase on the outer wing was fantastic as well.
Henderson got the handball free. Now Antonak again. Oh, handball missed Buckley as he ran past, close to the boundary line. Can't keep it in. We're at left half forward for St. Joeys, and they're just into attack. So it's back and forth here, 9-5, 59 apiece. And we have been playing 15 minutes in this third term Port Phillip Ferry's time clock.
There are some tired young men out there at the moment.
Well, it's defensive 50. There's offensive 50 at the moment, so it's running up and down. GPS data's blowing up at the moment.
Here's James Hickey to run onto the footy. Had it knocked out in a tackle. It spilled for Hughes of South Barwon. Kicked towards right half forward. Wanted his skipper Caldo. Couldn't mark. Recovered the best. James handball. A little bit too hot there for Noble. Noble was able to find it. Tried to knock it back towards Duray. And then he's dumped in a really good tackle. Dragged to ground. And the ball will stay under a pack now as O'Neill dived over the top of it. It was a good tackle on McLaughlin. We haven't caught a lot of him in the second half. And also Al Hickey getting to his feet, surprise, surprise. Mackay tapped down Bell, though, for South Barwon. The roving of Muir by St. Joeys was good. Kick towards half forward. Goff stretching in front of DeGrandy. Goff right now has owned Paddy DeGrandy this afternoon.
Shows lateral to White, and they run off half back. South Barwon. Short little kick was turnover. That came from Cunningham. He has to go and pick up the footy himself again. And then he's wrapped up. He just got it away. McLaughlin just back on the ground. He can't take it. O'Neill over the top of him. Pack develops just fall to the centre circle, and a little bit happening off the ball as well. Continuing on Mulroney. And also Henderson, and a free kick for a high tackle in the end. It's going to come back to McLaughlin, I think, and he'll take the free kick. Where's Al Hickey? He'll try and get it to him.
He will.
There we go.
Oh, you're right,
to him.
spot on.
There you go. Defensive 50. Al Hickey takes the mark.
Good crowd here at McDonald Reserve. Inboard he comes to O'Dwyer, about 35 from his defensive goal. Broadcast side is where he's looking to go. He's a bit confused, and now he goes with a kick that makes Harry Smith stretch, but he does okay and takes the mark. Inside defensive 50, Smith. Yep, with the footy.
Well, that happened because there was no spread. They're sort of slowing down, so they're not offering the spread anymore.
Short, back to O'Dwyer. Scores all tied at 59 apiece as we approach 19 minutes gone in this third quarter on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock. Oh, gee, O'Dwyer finally had a bounce after nearly running his full measure, and then a short little kick over the top is okay. Henderson looks to draw a man to get Antonak, and he bursts through the middle of McDonald Reserve. A handball to Muir on the bounce, gives it back to Antonak. Antonak just inside the centre square, driving ball to a one-on-one, trying to work his man off the footy. Camerick against Starkey. Handball up. Lewis, left foot snap. Well played, Ben Camerick.
Strength.
Second for Lewis. I said it'd be a tough matchup, one-on-one inside forward 50. Camerick, he proved so there, and the beneficiary was Hunter Lewis with a nice left foot snap and finish, and Joey's lead again by a goal. 10-5, 65 on the third quarter. K-Rock Geelong Bank scoreboard. South Barwon 9-5, 59.
Well, we saw him a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? He kicked 1-3, I think, North Shore, and he really should have kicked 3 that day, and he's got some strength up forward, but geez, there was some worry down here because the exits were really slow. Enter Louis Antonak, who broke the game open, who metres gained was probably about 110 metres there with ball in hand, so he broke the game open, and he's still got plenty of run in him, Louis Antonak.
Bell in the ruck against Mackay, gets it down. Comes to the outside though, Mulroney's handball, tried to get it towards Hughes. McLaughlin comes it in, but he gets past and gets it towards O'Neill. Had to sit and wait and did well. Just inside the centre square, takes the mark, wants to move it quickly. Oh, over the top, Chaplin got a hand to it for St. Joeys. Now Al Hickey over the top of it as well, about 40 out from the South Barwon goal. Pack develops umpire to come in and ball it up.
Essendon 3-3-21, Collingwood 2-4-16 for Leopold Sporties.
So Mackay comes down to do the ruck work against Callett in the forward line. Callett got it down nicely through the middle of the pack. And that might have been getting up off the back is Noble for South Barwon. Callett gets it down again. Rove, though, by Harrison Smith. Got it away to Antonak. Deep in the back line again. Scrambling sort of kick outside 50. White got a foot to it. Now through the middle, Hickey. Free kick hold. And it's going to be a free kick. Defensive 50 to the skipper. Al Hickey takes the mark. Just starting to engrave, I think. And Hennessy, he gets it across defensive 50 to Hocking.
I'm running out of ink, Jace.
Hocking, who's not the most elegant of left footers going around, gets a kick out wide to McLaughlin. McLaughlin a kick to half forward, stretching. Morrison over the top. Took the mark. Appeals for a push in the back from White, going unanswered. And he kicks to the left forward pocket. And James Hickey has rolled forward. He's an unlikely goal kicker. Just kicked the 10 in his 96-game career.
Back pocket does that.
And he's, well, playing as a run with on Madigan. And for Wombat Gully Plant Farm job, and he's doing a good job, and now he's been able to sneak forward. This would really hurt. It's a real win for Ron Watt and his coaching staff if James Hickey can jag a goal here. Man on the mark, stands 35 out. Hickey gives it his best, and he kicks a wonderful goal. No, he's pushing it across the face. Through for a minor score. The margin is 7. We're into time on in this third quarter on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock and the scoreboard. Thanks to Geelong Bank and Geelong Bank's 1-2 home loan. 1% less for 2 years, showing 66, playing 59. Joey's in front.
Ball into O'Neill. Madigan got the kick, and towards Keldu, just back on the ground, takes the mark. Just inside the centre square at centre wing, chips the ball over the top to Bosley. They're moving now. The Swans need something inside 50. Drives it long to a one-on-one. Muir against Carmody, who got a hand to it. Needs to get around. He does. Spins left, spins right, kicks the goal. Jackson Carmody kicks his third of the afternoon. And the 10th for South Barwon. They go to 10-5-65. Back to a point the difference to Joey's 10-6-66. Geelong Bank K-Rock. Third quarter scoreboard.
Quick ball movement. Got him out the back through the corridor. And then pretty poor defensively then, St. Joseph's, particularly one-on-one. So Carmody too strong through the core. And he generally finishes when he has ball in hand, Carmody.
He started last year in a burst, didn't he? I think he kicked 6 or 7 in round 1 last year.
He did. He kicked for the year. I think he kicked 18 for the year in the end. And
he was back in the 2s at point stages.
Season,
Back in the middle. Umpire puts it into the air. The margin is 1 to the good of Joey's. Northern uncontested. Won the tap down. Tracking it off the wing though. Duray had a fresh area with the handball. Went back to Northern. Madigan knocked him off the foot. He tried to dive it on himself. Northern then went back onto the loose ball. And he's going nowhere. And we'll get a ball up. 21.5 minutes played. Port Phillip Ferries time clock.
Plenty of action down here on the sidelines. The Joey's trainers are working overtime. There's lots of players cramping up, and there's Max McLaughlin, though, just keeping an eye on him because he was down for a little while after that last contest. So
Thank you, Birchie, for Geelong Sports Medicine Centre down boundary side. Jane Birch. Umpire puts it into the air after the stoppage. Bell and Northern. Northern might have won that at the front down to Muhor, but the handball outside door made Owen work. Swings onto his right boot. Went looking there for De Grant. He golfed with him as per usual. Here's Mulroney with the foot. He kicks on his left towards half forward and coming up and marking his Urquhart. He can go back inboard with the handball. He decides not to, and now swings a floater inside 50. Does Bosley no favours. Standing tall underneath it and taking the mark is O'Dwyer, who's one of the best defensive marks in the GFL.
He comes towards Harrison Smith's in front of the best seats in the house, thanks to Abco Cafe 24/7. Right in front of us is Harrison Smith, and wanting somebody to run for him because they're all standing still. He goes towards Henderson on centre wing. That's a good kick and a good mark he plays on. Goes down the line, and mark not taken by Morrison. Falls over the back though to John Oates. Hennessy,
you had the hands
right
there.
foot kick at it.
Why would you handball,
the goal!
Sorry about handballing. I've got this.
No handballs. Third goal. Ollie Hennessy. And quick reply again from that South Barwon goal for Joey's, back to a 7-point lead, and great movement of the ball along the wing. 11-6-72. They lead South Barwon 10-5-65. Geelong Bank K-Rock third quarter scoreboard.
It was still a little bit stationary coming along this outer wing, but Henderson just ran into some space because South Barwon were actually zoned rather than man on man, and he was able to pick him off. And then on that occasion, they got South Barwon out the back, and old Hennessy said, "Don't worry about the handball, Maxie McLaughlin. I've got this, son. It's only your second or third game. I'll show you how to do it."
So last year's leading goal kicker only kicked 1 through the opening 2 games, but he's got 3 this afternoon, and there might be more to come. Although the Swans are going to come up with it from the middle. O'Neill, a handball back into the path of James, who's been good. Back into the centre wicket area. Brings a kick wide. Wanting Noble on the half volley. Went with the one hand. Got Buckley for company. He's trying to protect the ball. Wonderful pick up. Hughes confronted. Got a handball away. And James now is with the footy. He's just perpetual motion. James alone. Al Hickey, wonderful. Laying it, a Noble's kick away. He might be, it's going to be advantage paid because the kick away by Noble landed with Mewhall, so he took advantage. Hickey saw coming to the bench. Keep an eye on that, Birchie, for St John of God. Kick inside forward 50, front position. Mackay, ball spills out the side. Hutchinson there, and a clearing kick now coming. Might have been White jamming on the boot, but only as far as Lewis. Lewis will send it back inside forward 50. Fort came with a spoil to knock it away from Morrison. Morrison recovered best. Handball to Grandy. Shrugged off the tackle. Open goal. He's got his first to Grandy. He's been well worn by Goff all afternoon, but broken play saw the ball back inside forward 50, and Paddy de Grandy kicks his 8th of the season and gives his team a handy little 13-point break. 12-6-78 on the K-Rock Geelong Bank scoreboard. South Barwon 10-5-65.
Kingy, the funny thing is, Noble's kick could have almost been 50 if it didn't land in the arms of a St Joseph's player, and it was actually the advantage. Then they owned the corridor, and Hunter Lewis had worked up the ground and got the ball in a really good position, and they just moved the ball too quick into the forward line. So that kick by Noble actually was to the advantage of St Joseph's.
Back in the middle, we'll get an injury update for St John of God shortly with Al Hickey off the ground. Might be across his mush, I think. Camrick in the middle now with Mewhall leading Madigan in the race for the football. Left at Fort, comes off half-back for South Barwon. He gets a kick out of pretty much mid-air, Michael Lynott style again. He's done that a couple of times today. Caldu wrapped up, gets the handball away. Oh, his teammate didn't do him any favours. Callity dropped the football straight away on the point of the centre square, and it's going to be a ball up. Down to you, Jane. Injury update thanks to St John of God. Al Hickey.
Al Hickey, a fair bit of claret dripping out of that nose, so they're just trying to stem that flow.
Getting back out there because the medal's his, I reckon. No matter what the result is, he's been outstanding this afternoon from the ruck contest. A chance here for Peters, who almost threw it back to James. James on his non-preferred left to kick inside forward 50. Or Caldu. Is there a free kick for a push? No. I reckon a Logie awarded. Winning performance there from Matty Caldu, just throwing himself forward. Hovey taking the mark. Kicks to right half back to Antonak, who I like this streamlined Louis Antonak.
Yeah, he's quicker.
Handball to Buckley, cruising past, a little shimmy on Shepherd to get away. Don't ask me to say shimmy on Shepherd again, although I just did then. Picked up by Bell, who is rolled in the tackle at true centre wing, and we'll get a ball up. Just don't ask me after 7 or 8 sherbets at the Sporting Globe, Briery Street, Geelong.
Absolutely, get your bucket.
So ball up, centre wing, Northam and Bell. Northam straight down to Camrick. His handball underneath. Has to go back and get it himself. Oh, he's diving on it there, Madigan.
Umpire's got to pay it, doesn't he?
He does. He dived on the footy.
It's tough, isn't it? Because you sort of want to win the ball. And
so Antonak with the free kick. Centre wing.
He's been really good, Jace, this afternoon, Louis Antonak.
Broken the lines, hasn't he?
He has.
And he goes with the right foot kick now, long to half forward. Big pack there. De Grandy over the back, can't take the mark. Possibly gave away a free kick. Morrison said no, he didn't. He wants to give me the ball. And he goes towards goal across the face again, hitting on the point of the ball, but this time going through for one behind. And he has 3 behinds this afternoon, Oscar Morrison, by my reckoning. And St Joeys 12-7-79 lead South Barwon 10-5-65. Geelong Bank K-Rock third quarter scoreboard.
White to bring the ball back into play in his defensive goal square. The usual kicker-outerer. He goes to half-back, and it's a really nice bullet, too, into the waiting arms of Giray. He's got it below the scoreboard that shows St Joseph's by 14 points for Geelong Bank. Patrons shield their eyes from the sun. He kicks to the wing. Big spoil coming over the top there from Chaplin to knock it away from Caldu. And we get a boundary throw-in at true centre wing. St Joseph's 12-7, South Barwon 10-5. Birchie, down to you for St John of God. Latest on Al Hickey. Birchie in a moment.
Sorry about that, Kingy. He's ready to come back on, so it looks like they've stopped the bleeding, and he seems okay. Obviously got the all clear. Trainer's giving me the wink and the nod, so yeah, he's ready.
Madigan from the clearance. Thank you, Birchie. Birchie boundary side for Geelong Sports Medicine Centre. Right foot kick from Madigan, a rarity, marked by Caldu, who sends South inside 50.
He does. He goes up, but geez, they just pluck. Jolo Dwyer just plucks the mark and says, no, it's mine. Get out of the way, and he's taken it easily in the end. He judged that beautifully. Wants to drive it back down the line, keeps it low. Oh, one hand by Hovey, didn't take the mark. And then he has to put on some defensive work and did so. Kept the ball there and might have also given Matt Keldu one to go on with as he was on the ground as well. Two pretty big blokes there, Keldu and Hovey. So we're going to have a ball up, boundary throw-in, in fact, on centre wing on the outer side. Northam, oh, that's a hold against Callett. Umpire says play on. Ball, James to Mulroney off a step towards half forward for South Barwon. No mark taken by Broughton. Gets it away by hand. Just dribbles inside 50, but St.Joeys again off a step. Henderson. Siren sounds 3/4 time. And, well, after scores will level a couple of times in that third term. St.Joeys 12-7-79 leads South Barwon 10-5-65 at the final change.
They've won 8 straight on Anzac Day against South Barwon, and they've won 15 straight overall. Can it be Sweet 16 this afternoon to stay unbeaten and go top of the GFL ladder with 3 consecutive wins to start the season? We'll find out with 1 quarter to play on the other side of this. That third quarter thanks to Geelong Bank, and Geelong Bank's 1-2 home loan, 1% less for 2 years. Check out geelongbank.com.au, Jerringhap Street in Geelong. St Joseph's by 14 here at McDonald Reserve on a beautiful Anzac Day Tuesday, as we remember those who gave their lives in the theatre of war, and we pay tribute to those who have served and continue to serve right around the world in our armed forces. Back shortly. Thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7. We've got you. Live, breathe, K-Rock footy. hydrotherapy pool required, especially South Barwon boys who have got only a 4-day turnaround into playing Newtown on Saturday afternoon.
I think our friend down here might need the hydrotherapy pool too. Casanelia Ben?
I think
he's in the budget.
I think somebody's been refreshing.
He's had a refreshment or 7. Don't worry about that.
Good on him. Good on him. A weekend. I'm calling my 4th. Gee, what a great life he leads. Just waiting for the last remnants of the crowd to make their way off McDonald Reserve. Massive crowd. South Barwon would have absolutely, well, cha-ching, cha-ching. There'll be somebody going to the local Geelong Bank branch tomorrow. It's the only Geelong Bank branch, and just dropping off the fundage from today. 12-7-79, 10-5-65. We'll keep an eye on some Wombat Gully Plant Farm matchups. Looks like Antonac and Madigan are not too far from each other, and right now Hickey has got Mulraney.
It changes over. Some stoppages, they sort of don't go to each other, but in transition, Hickey certainly is right next to Madigan in his back pocket.
Harry Smith has come into the middle.
He has. So
next to Sam James.
That's that rotation where they're down one, where they've got to actually flick players in and out to keep those rotations going and to keep the players fresh. So Smith will be that new one introduced.
It's been a decade of dominance by St Joseph's over South Barwon. Will it continue? We'll find out over the next half an hour or so. We've got to cast our votes for the Anzac Day medalist as well here on K-Rock Football. Harvey Norman, final term. Here's Jason Doherty.
So Ollie Northam and Ryan Bell. And there is Harry Smith straight through the middle, getting the first possession of the final term. And Ryan Bell wrapped up in the middle with a big ruckman for South Barwon, not going anywhere.
All tied up at the MCG, 35 apiece as we approach half-time.
The ball up, Bell gets it down. James had it, lost it, got it back and got the kick away. Duray got a hand to it in front of McLaughlin. Goes towards centre half forward with the kick, punched away from behind. St.Joeys working overtime. Harry Smith back there to help out. Chain of handballs. James Hickey back to Hovey. He gets it out wide. St.Joeys go nice. Henderson came from the wing, took the mark at half back and drills it back inboard and finds Harry Smith again.
Smith on his left sends it to the run of Morrison, who looks to be behind Hocking, I should say, and he kicks on the left, bouncing ball. Warren attacks it, goes one way, then the other. Oh, steps around, breaks the ankles of Ford, and then a kick inside forward 50. Wants to Grandy, good spoil by Goff. He's been good all afternoon. Taken to ground in a tackle at the back of the pack is White, and we will get a ball up in the left forward pocket. St Joseph's in attack. I was just sneaking suspicion. One more might put this to bed and make it the best part of a 4-goal game, and that might do it for Joey's. Umpire puts it into the air. Morrison doing the ruck work, won the tap. James did the roving. That's a throw. Umpire didn't see it. Fought on the outside of the right boot, but Smith
started well.
Yeah, started this last term really well, and once again gets his hands on the footy. He marks for St Joseph's at left half forward. About 55 from goal. The man on the mark stands.
Late play for the medal, Harry Smith. And so 55 out, called to play on now. Drives it long into the pocket to Grandy. Goff against him in front. Good mark, Rowan Goff. And you can see he's done a bit of work at VFL level in the pre-season. You can see his positioning of his body is fantastic.
Yeah, he certainly has come right on, hasn't he?
He has. He takes the mark and he plays on. Runs along the boundary line. Goes towards centre wing. Big pack there off the back of the pack. Where's it going to sit? Caldu came in against Harry Smith. Pack develops. Umpire will come in. Can't see it. Blinded by the light. And he will come in, the umpire, and ball it up. Just defensive. You like that?
Was he wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night?
Like that. Take it away, Kingy.
Thank you, Manfred Mann's Earth Band. Of course, written by Bruce Springsteen, that song, as White bangs it on the boot to the wing, looking for Caldu. Fisted away from behind by Hocking. Front of the pack, Madigan trying to dive through a couple of tacklers. Tried to get up on the up to Mulraney. Here's Antonac, who's been really impressive. He lost it in a tackle. Madigan came again, dumped by Antonac. And right now, you've got to think it's Hickey, Buckley, Antonac, maybe Jay Hickey as well in contention for the medal. James Goff will be all over that this afternoon. Tap down Northam, Harrison Smith, Madigan trying to impose himself on the contest. A handball that Mulraney takes and then loses. Here's a chance for Mulraney after getting from Duray, I should say. Kick inside forward 50's a rolling ball. It eludes Callett and it rolls towards Hovey. Bosley to provide the pressure. Callett in traffic. Handball. Carmody snap to an open goal square. Bouncing ball off break, and that has been touched by Hickey on the line. Al Hickey doing it all this afternoon for St Joseph's, the captain, and the margin is 13. 10-6-66 South. St Joseph's 12-7-79, and Carmody just didn't get enough purchase on it.
The kick in, Joey's under pressure from behind. O'Dwyer got it away by hand. They run towards half-back. Warren takes the mark for St Joeys. Might get them on the run here. Here's Hennessy on centre wing. Oh, just pulled up a bit short with a bit of cramp there.
He was limping at the break as well.
Yeah, so he goes out wide to Grandy. Got rid of Goff on this occasion. Took the mark, played on now. That awkward kicking style. Pops it up. 50 out, 40 out from goal. Off the back of the pack. McLaughlin to run onto it. Just has to sit for him and it doesn't. And coming the other way was Hughes, and he got some support from Goff as well. Went left, went right. Oh, dangerous handball. Oh, missed the target. Is that on the full? Oh, wow, the handball. Missed the target from Pat Cunningham.
Yeah.
Goff was running past him. He just completely missed it. Boundary throw in right forward pocket for St Joeys.
Yeah, there was no insufficient intent there.
Wasn't. As much as Antonac wanted it.
Boundary throw in right forward pocket. Can Joeys deliver a knockout blow? James a handball to a teammate cruising past Cunningham outside of the right boot. There's a Joeys player down in back play because the kick went over the head of the Joeys trainer, and that actually fooled Peters. He sort of stopped his progress at the footy. White, Broughton, Peters, back to White. He'll try to burn off Buckley. Instead got a handball back inboard. Broughton tapped it to White. White to Madigan, who fumbled at the opportune time. Time to go back, recover and get it. And then a high kick to the wing. Sit under that, Callett. Oh, wonderful mark coming up. Hovey judged it best. And quickly a handball onto James Hickey, who gave it to Antonac.
Antonac now deep forward, inside, over the back, Goff. Couldn't quite pick it up. Now he does. Wheels back, across the face of goal. Has to be accurate, does. And they just settle the play down now. They go Mulroney. He goes out wide. Got a couple of loose players. Handball inboard towards James at half-back. Chips the ball over the top. They're away now. Bosley can wheel and go in the middle. Went right, then comes back with the left. Goes up over the back. Al Hickey was there. Falls, though, towards Noble. Little kick around the corner. Missed the target. St Joeys should be able to get out of trouble. They've created a couple of loose players themselves. DeGrandy at half-back takes the mark.
Tanner Owens come from the ground. Keep an eye on that for us, Birchie. For St John of God, we put you first. Here's Al Hickey again getting forward of the footy and marking. He potentially has, I reckon he's probably got the best part of votes in round one, or against North Shore in votes today. He might be leading early as there's going to be a free kick going which way. It might be against Hunter Lewis, I reckon. An unrealistic attempt in the marking contest, and Mulroney has got the footy for South Barwon at left half back, and there now might be, now the umpire's blown the whistle and he's told Ryan Bell to get out of the protected zone.
I mean, it's his own player.
If he wants to stand there and look like a peanut, who cares?
Exactly right. If you're going to hinder your own team.
Yeah, that's right.
Mulroney drives it towards left half forward through the hands of Caldu. Bosley head over it, got bumped by Buckley, and the umpire says that bump was a little bit high, and it'll come back and be a free kick to Andrew Bosley, who hasn't had a massive impact on this clash, it should be said, this afternoon. Has kicked the one goal in the second quarter, but just hasn't been a big day for the marking forwards, fair to say, despite the conditions.
Bosley now goes inside 50 with the kick. No mark. Front and centre. James on the left foot. Up the chimney towards the pocket. Who's going to mark it? Nobody. Falls into the arms. Turn around. And I think there's a miss too.
Was crucial.
Crucial. It was Noble with it, who's kicked 2 goals, 3. Had a chance off the back of the pack there. Turned around, kicked it over his shoulder and missed. And through for 1 behind, 2 goals, 3. His tally 10-7-67 South Barwon St Joeys 12-7-79. And that's on the Harvey Norman K-Rock final quarter scoreboard. 7.5 minutes played, final term on the Port Phillip Ferries time clock. Port Phillip Ferries, there's no better way to travel to the footy.
That breeze just got up a little, Birchie, for South Point Garden Supplies.
It has picked up, but it's actually the flags are going the other way now towards the clubhouse. So
maybe a slight hint of a zephyr for South Barwon in the last quarter. Al Hickey trots off into the right back pocket, lowers his eyes and delivers a kick onto the chest. Dwyer, who's turned it over into the waiting arms of Sammy James, who right now has a massive kick in the context of this match. This to cut the margin back to 6 points at the 8-minute mark of the final term. That was just a disaster coming out there from OJ. He hasn't done a lot wrong, no, Dwyer, this afternoon.
We're going down. What's that in centre?
No, he's done a lot right, except for that kick. Not when you want to exit out of your back half, Jace. You want to turn it over in the corridor, 40 out.
Took the literal keep your eyes down, lower your eyes.
Picked up the 2 Matheson medal votes last year on Anzac Day. Only kicked 5 goals last year, but He points to the sky in memory of his late grandmother who passed on the weekend. He plays in honour of her today, and all his teammates get to him. They know what that means to him. And maybe, just maybe, he's guided his team back into this contest. They trail by 6. James with his first, and the margin sits in an even goal. 12-7-79 St Joseph's, South Barwon 11-7-73 on the final quarter. K-Rock Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Just another goal from a turnover as well. I'd like to see the scores from turnovers during the week, because a lot of the goals have been preventable, and turnover by foot or hand has really hurt St Joseph's today.
Could have a draw this afternoon. Back to the middle, Mackay. We have one of them, Kingy. Let's have a look at that Anzac Day. Ball, Harrison Smith puts the tackle on.
Never been a draw, never been a draw between the two clubs.
There you go.
Just an update down here on the bench. It's all happening. There's players coming off left, right and centre. We've had Jack Buckley was lying flat on his back for about 5 minutes. He's gone back on. And Tanner Owen is getting some assessment on his right ribs, some intercostal issues there for him. So there are very sore and tired bodies coming off.
Intercostal.
Nothing worse than the intercostal.
No.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks to St John of God.
I've been on holidays there. I into intercostal.
Injury updates. It's a beautiful place, intercostal. Now the ball from Madigan at half back for South Barwon. Got slow and dropped the footy. Got rid of the football, didn't he?
Whoa.
So free kick, umpire pointed the wrong way. I think John Oates has got the free kick. Hennessy, he's struggling with cramp as well.
Wow.
And you want to be careful, Dahl Madigan, because he'll give away 50 for dissent as well, because he's not happy with the decision.
They were out too.
Hennessy gets it towards Morrison, who somehow got away from Goff and everybody else in the South Barwon back line.
Yeah, it was a bit weird because it was a slow play, wasn't it?
He just basically looked like it was a training drill.
It wasn't a slow play, it was the slowest play of the day.
Snail play.
Yeah, correct.
And Oscar Morrison, who has not kicked a goal this afternoon, he's kicked 3 behinds. You wouldn't put the house on it from here. He's 48 metres out. They are 6 points in front. We've played 10 and a bit minutes in this final term.
This is as crucial as James's kick, really.
It is. He comes in to make the margin 12 again. Right foot kick. He puts it up. Has it got the distance? Don't think so. Fought there. Big thump away. Might be a crucial point. Gone early.
The old handy point.
Old handy
10-minute mark and
10-minute
last.
Hey, stranger things ever happen.
This is true, James.
12-8-80, St Joeys, South Barwon 11-7-73. Harvey Norman, K-Rock, final quarter scoreboard.
Cunningham to bring the ball.
He's not sure.
Play. Yeah, he's got nothing on, so he just wants the corridor. And he was touched by the man on the mark. Warren fired a handball to Hennessy. Hennessy, the quick snap, and they might have put South to bed. He's kicked his 4th, 1 in each quarter. Cunningham, he had a low ball, he wanted the corridor, and it was touched by the man standing the mark, and the margin is 13 on the K-Rock. Harvey Norman, final quarter scoreboard. St Joseph's 13-8-86. They lead South Barwon 11-7-73.
So that's just pressure at the end of the day. He hadn't left the square. So you've got all the time you want. You can just slow it down, take your step back off the line if you have to, stay in your box, and then kick long if you have to. There was no need to panic and do what he did there. That's just a little bit of pressure of the game, maybe a little bit of inexperience as well.
I lied. He kicked 2 in the 3rd. I said 1 in each quarter. He's got 4 anyway.
He didn't lie about that.
Back to the middle. James gets it away for South Barwon towards a vacant half-forward flank position. Noble overruns it. James Hickey doesn't. Gets around 2 or 3. Handball over the top. Lewis had to pick it up and gets wrapped up by Noble straight away. Suplex style. Rushed into the ground, and it will be a ball up right half-forward for the Swans.
They put Hickey behind the ball, guys, just for your information.
Todd Devine, former president of St Joseph's, listening to us, enjoying the call via the live stream. Welcome to you, Todd.
Ball. O'Neill, handball over the top to James. Had to sit and wait for it. The ball still in dispute. Lewis. He couldn't get the handball out. Pack develops again.
Oh, it's gone up a little bit here again as well.
As it's ball up right half forward. 86 plays, 73-13 the difference, and we have played 12 and a half in this final term.
Here's Al Hickey tracking the foot. He had his legs taken from underneath him. He's going to win a free kick, but he's actually hurt himself again. But, geez, he plays with a real robust nature. He's going to give a little handball off to a man cruising past Dwight and Henderson, who then gave it back to Hickey, who had his handball cut off. It found its way to Mackay. He lost it in the tackle. Bell dives on the ball. They are absolutely more of attrition out here right now. Chance now for Madigan after receiving from Mulroney. Kick on the bounce. Well trapped by Caldu. Turns onto his right boot. Kicks into the right forward pocket, but well placed to mark is Hovey, who fires a handball over the top. Chance to get outside of defensive 50 through James Hickey. He was pushed after he kicked, so I reckon there'll be a downfield free kick, and Antonak has got it at left halfback.
Mackay wants a rotation, but there isn't one for him.
He's going
to get the ball here.
He's been physically ill too.
Yeah, he has. He's vomiting earlier.
Yeah.
So he's calling for a rotation. Then Antonak had to tell him to turn around so he could kick it to him.
He's that close to the boundary line. He nearly took it in the coach's box.
Yeah.
He's got it now on centre wing. Drives it with a right foot kick. And he's going to end up Rowan Goff. He's got his name written all over that. Takes it easy. Oh, McLaughlin also struggling with a bit of cramp as he tries to run away from Rowan Goff. It's going to be who's ending up with 18 on the ground here, the way they're going. More of attrition. Goff.
The umpire's telling him to move, but he actually literally physically can't.
Goes towards centre wing, off the front of the pack. Urquhart, right foot kick, deep into attack. Oh, the only person with his name written on it, Chaplin, took the mark for St. Joeys. Wants to switch the play. Goes towards Harrison Smith. Wants to get her back on the left. Oh, a little bit of Candy past Carmody. Goes to the outer side with the kick. De Grande, always good overhead and takes the mark at half back.
And he's worked up the ground there to help out De Grande in that smart play. It hasn't been his afternoon for man who kicked 7 goals. That awkward kicking style, but effective this time as he puts it into the eyes of Oscar Morrison, who marks in front of a very good crowd on the outer wing. He comes inboard to De Grande, and they're just happy to take some time off the clock. 14 minutes gone in this final term, but you've got to be careful of that. He gives a handball off. Smith will want to get back onto his left boot, confronted by Hughes. Now drives a kick. Inside forward, 50. Oh, big fly over the top. Warren with a Hamlin hanger. Over the top of Hutchinson, took a wonderful mark. And now he quickly wants to kick. And the kick that was intended for Hovey, Fort got in the way, took the mark. And luckily Hovey was sort of in the contest because he brought Fort to ground, no 50. Handball off Cunningham, inside defensive 50, touches the ball to ground, then a low kick that barely went 15. White off his bootlaces, paid the mark, but the grab taken there by Jed Warren, really impressive for Hamlin.
Goes short to Madigan, right in front of the best seats in the house, thanks to Atco Cafe 24/7. He's going to give a handball to Kirsch, I reckon. He's that close. He plays on now. Left foot kick along the line towards centre wing. They all line up, punched away. Off hands and out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. They've been playing 15 and a half. Final term, Port Phillip Ferry's time clock. Port Phillip Ferry's, there's no better way to travel to the footy.
It would have felt like they've played 6 quarters at the moment, Jace. The lactic acid, the burning in the legs.
From the ruck contest, it's tapped down to Antonak, who's dragged down in a tackle the same moment he took possession of the ball by Mulroney, and we will get a ball up. So it's just forward of the wing favouring South Barwon. They need a goal. Bell, wonderful tap to Madigan. Madigan was able to release a handball back to Starkey. Starkey, the voice of Peters, swings onto his right boot. A spinning ball into the right forward pocket. Caldu, good defensive spoil O'Dwyer, but didn't get out of the bounds. And then the kick towards the right forward pocket. Numbers there for St. Joeys to clean up. Buckley's one of those, and his kick to Camerick is good, and he marks at left half back, and he now cramps for St. John of God.
He's got cramp in a calf. I don't know how you do that together. He goes wide, looking for, well, the boundary line. In the end, Ryan Bell was out there. He couldn't take the mark, and it's out of bounds. Boundary throw in centre wing, broadcast side. And there's a lot of tired bodies out there.
I'm tired watching them.
Yeah, I've never seen so many blokes head for their toes to try and get the cramp ready. So free kick for a hold, is it? Yes, it's going back here to Ryan Bell. Handballs it away to Fort. Goes with a kick along the line towards half forward. Oh, the Mosley Hamlin hanger! Great work, the big fella.
He's cramping too.
Yeah, he can't get up after taking that mark. He put all of it into that marking contest and took the grab, and he will shoot the goal from 50 out boundary line, right in front of the Burger van. And
we haven't seen a Burger.
No, disappointing. Disappointing from the Nield-led Swans today. But anyway, that's fine. We'll never come back. It's
we'll
okay.
Make comment on the canteen and the...
Yep, that's right. Yes, Lara leading the way at the moment.
Correct.
Very nice. Bosley from the boundary line. Right foot kick. Coming back. Offhand. Still in play, I think. Goes to the pocket. Handball back. Off a step. Cunningham kicks the goal! One step, turn around, kick over the shoulder from 40 metres out, and he puts his first on the board, and they bring the margin back to 7 points. 12-7-79 South Barwon St. Joeys, 13-8-86 Harvey Norman K-Rock final quarter scoreboard.
Good goal.
Well, just got to take your chances in the forward line, don't you?
Yeah. That's the spot to be. They actually did that really well, because when the ball hits the ground in that forward line, their smalls are so dangerous, and he was just positioned himself perfectly. Didn't have to come too close to the fall of the ball, and he just sat off the contest, and it was a perfect spot to be in.
Well, that's the first goal of his career as Bell wins the tap down. The roving done by James, and South will go forward again. Bosley clipped heels with his opponent in O'Dwyer. Is that 50? No. As it was knocked out of the grasp of O'Dwyer. And the ball will go back. 7-point thriller right now. 18.5 minutes. So still plenty of footy left in this one. 2 goals to South, 1 goal to Joeys in this final term. Kick to the wing, Mackay positioning himself. Goff got a hand on it, but off the hands of the pack. McLaughlin, who just jammed it on the boot. He bought 25 metres for his team. Wide over, ran it left to behind. Lewis under pressure. Got a little kick away. Fought with a wonderful pick up and then stepped through with tackle, but his handball a bit hot for Shepherd. Shepherd taken down by Lewis. Not coming out. We'll get a ball up at 55 out, left half forward. Another cramp. Todd White this time stretching out the calves. 4-day break. Going to be a tough ask for South.
Have a look at the numbers here at the stoppage.
Tap down Callett, roving Mulroney. Long ball, high ball to the wing, off hand. Front of the pack, Noble did the roving. Wonderful smother by Chaplin. Sees it out of bounds. Boundary throw in, true centre wing.
Last stoppage, South Barwon had 4 on one side and St Joseph's only had 2 on the other side. So as fatigue gets in, the middies aren't getting to the stoppages to even up.
Callett in the ruck now against Northam. Callett gets it down. He nearly does his own roving work and got a hold, I think, and should get a free kick against Northam, who's not happy. Callett wheels the handball to Goff off a step across half forward, tumbling punt. Doesn't sit. Muhor across there, leaves it for DeGrande. Oh, he tried to bounce it, but it comes back up for Childress there. Bounces it again, runs away, then kicks towards Mackay. Should have taken the mark and did it. Under pressure, leaves the football behind. White, who was cramping 30 seconds ago, gets the left foot kick out wide. Urquhart, he can't take it with him. Close to the boundary line. Hocking, and does he keep it in? He does to DeGrande, right on the boundary line. 60 from goal, measures the pass, punched away. Great defensive play came from the last goal kicker, Cunningham, and he sees it over the boundary line. 50 around from the St Joeys goal.
Little moments, drop chest mark. It was low, but
should have taken it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plenty of tied boys out there. We've ticked into time on Port Phillip Ferry's time clock final term, an Anzac Day classic. Boundary throw in. Al Hickey's gone forward onto the ball. Now he's sending a high kick to a contest. And Hovey, who spent most of the afternoon down back, has come up and led on his chest and taken the mark. Josh Hovey, who playing his 100th open age game for Joeys this afternoon. Only the 25 goals at GFL senior level. One of 4 premiership players out there this afternoon. This maybe to put South to bed. He starts it right, he works it back, and he kicks the goal. The margin back out to 13 points, and that might be enough. Final quarter, K-Rock, Harvey Norman scoreboard. St Joseph's 14-8-92, South Barwon 12-7-79. And in the expert chair for the Sporting Globe, watch every Cats home and away game at the Sporting Globe. Rory Street, Geelong. Here's Matt Kershaw.
Well, just prior to that ball inside forward 50, Al Hickey actually laid 2 tackles to force a little bit of a spillage as well. So not only is he putting the ball inside forward 50, he's defending it well, he's doing all the hard stuff as well. And we saw how sore his body is. But that was another inside 50 to Al Hickey, and that was fantastic football.
Back in the middle for Northam and Callett. Northam gets it down. James Hickey can't take it now. Northam again. Might push it towards Al Hickey. Kick off the ground across half forward now. White wrapped up by Henderson. Ball spilt free from the contest. And James Hickey wrapped up, not going anywhere in that tackle.
Got himself in the stoppages now, Jace, Al Hickey.
Yeah, he has. He's right there, right next to the umpire, right next to Sammy James as the umpire throws the ball in the air. Northam. There is James. Got a clearing little kick. Inside, back towards James. Drew a player, got it away to DeRay. He goes left foot kick, 65 out from goal to the pocket in front. Harrison Smith just doing it all. Started in the middle in this last term and now in the back pocket takes the mark for St Joeys.
He's been solid all day, hasn't he, Harrison Smith?
Don't waste any opportunities going forward, South Barwon now. Time is against them. Oh, long ball outside. There's calls for a push. Goff wants the umpire to pay something, but DeGrande's taken the mark, and now a kick to the wing. And here is Muhor. Muhor now a kick to Camerick, who's got out the back. Will it get to him? No. Good defensive spoil from Shepherd, but that's only knocked into the path of Mackay, who gives a handball to Camerick. Camerick's got them queuing up, including Henderson, but he missed him with the kick. Now it's a foot race. Henderson and Peters. Henderson trying to tap it to his own advantage. Peters worried him out of it, did very well. Gave a handball to Ford. Ford a kick to the wing, but straight into the waiting arms of Joel O'Dwyer. And I reckon this one might be done and dusted. Joeys are going to hang on, I suspect.
He goes short to Morrison, who takes the mark in front of Fort. He's got Antonak over the top. If he can just give it to him, he's going to hold it up, though, and go further. Drives it long towards the boundary line. Henderson with the sit over the back. Peters, big thump away defensively over the boundary line and out of bounds. And at 50, St. Joeys into attack. We're going to have a boundary throw in. So 14-8-92 St. Joeys, South Barwon 12-7-79. 13 points of difference, boundary throw in. From behind Northam, punched on by McLaughlin. Mackay, kick from mid-air in the end. 2-on-2 in the middle at the top of the square, and a mark taken for South Barwon. Towards James, he's got 2 against him. Al Hickey just punched it defensively over the line. And it will be another boundary throw in front of the best seats of the house, thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7.
Best 41st player I've seen in the comp.
Best. Best.
Ball back into play. Northam. And sure, Kellett, gee, I tell you what, Kellett was going to get a free kick there. Northam's come at the ball again, and we will get a ball up. So 55 out from goal. Northam and Bell, and I reckon there's a sense of inevitability about this one. Bell from behind winning the tap down. Mulroney jamming it on the boot towards the wing. Over the head of Noble. Al Hickey there again. Went to ground. Chance for Caldu. Handball to Broughton. Broughton had to come to the boundary line to Ford. Ford under pressure. A quick kick away, and judging it best off the boot was Chaplin. Umpire paying a mark. Bosley saying it was touched off the boot. And he went to lay a tackle.
He did.
Chaplin now called to play on, just sets it up, a floater that White should mark on the juggle, does, and has to get going. Oh, it's going to be
played on.
Now, what's being paid here?
50.
50-metre penalty.
He got that wrong.
A 50-metre penalty.
He got that wrong, umpire Brown.
So that will be a 50-metre penalty, and White to keep the door ajar for South Barwon. Todd White, not a noted goal kicker, playing his 19th game for South, the Koroit recruit. Only the 1 goal last year in his first season. He'll start it right. He'll work it back enough, will he? Yes. So they're back within 7, and they stay alive at the 25-minute mark. It won't be a long quarter. We haven't had a great deal of goals, but they move to 13-7-85, trailing St. Joseph's 14-8-92 in a cracker on Anzac Day on K-Rock football.
That's a big call.
How's that point going from before?
Exactly right. That's a big call, and I'm not afraid to say he got that one wrong, but anyway, we move on, and it's, what is that, 26 minutes gone. What do you think it'll go to, 28?
Yeah, we've only had the 5 goals.
Yeah, okay. So maybe 28.
Back to the middle, Mackay.
Still plenty of time.
Bell gets it down. Mulroney roves it. A little toe poke. Antonak comes across on centre wing, does well. Traps it. He gets a long right foot kick, but Goff read it the better and took the mark. Northern was nowhere near him there. He chips the ball short to Hughes, running off half back, goes to the middle of the ground. Ford looks like he's forward, but coming the other way was St. Joeys defence. Al Hickey, as usual. Henderson on centre wing tries to measure the pass towards Camrick, who's got to get past the work of Cunningham. He dives over the top and gives a handball away to Henderson, who kept going, pushed out in front, and it's a good pass to Hovey. And Felix Henderson did a great job there. Camrick in support, and Josh Hovey will take every bit of his time here in the left forward pocket.
There's a little bit of Roman Greco wrestling between Camrick.
There's a lot of falling over and carrying on now. There's a lot of tired bodies out there.
I wouldn't want to be stuck on the wrestling mat with Ben Camrick.
No, I don't either. So Josh Hovey has kicked 1. He's about 40 out from goal. Left forward pocket. Just puts it out the top of the square to Grandy. Northam can't take the mark off hands. Goff kept his feet. Pushed it through for a rush behind. Oh, de Grandy wanting the goal, but he didn't get it, and through for 1 behind. They play on quickly. Shepherd plays on from fullback for South Barwon. They just need to attack now. The Swans goes towards the middle of the ground. Kellett takes the mark.
Got it. Back edge of the centre square, the skipper. He goes short to Madigan. Madigan will swing onto that left boot. He just needs a mark inside forward 50. Where's Bosley? Good defensive spoil. O'Dwyer, front of the pack. Harrison Smith to clean up for St. Joseph. Carmody, big wrestling move. Dumped him too high, according to the umpire. And that may be it. An advantage will be paid, will it? No. It'll be Smith to get back off his mark as we approach 28 minutes gone. Port Phillip Ferry's time clock. Kick from Smith to the wing. Looking for Mackay, can't mark, back of the pack, Goff, handball underground. Looped over the top by Mulroney, or Duray, I should say. Now Goff trying to get a handball on. Chance here for White. Kicks on his left inside forward, 50 off the hands of Morrison, who's gone back. Done a little switcheroo there with Morrison and Hovey. And we'll get a boundary throw in left forward pocket. About 25 around from the left hand behind post. So you just have to score from this stoppage to be any hope. South Barwon.
Boundary throw in.
They've been good in this area.
Hocking up against Fort in the ruck contest. Hocking to get it down. Through the middle of the pack. Hocking got it away by hand. Ball close to the boundary line. Mark taken Duray on the boundary line. 45 out, plays on quickly. Right foot kick. Top of the square. Mark required. Fort got hands to it. It's off his hands and through for one behind. So another behind to South Barwon. Back to 7 points the difference. 13-8-86 South Barwon, St Joeys 14-9-93.
Buckley to bring the ball back into play. An important kick in here. Just wanders into the right back pocket with no real pressure on him. Sends it long to half back. McGrandy from about 5 deep had to go at trying to mark over the top of a big pack. It's at the front of that pack now, and we'll get a ball up. Last man up is Duray. Oh, in fact, it's Shepherd. We'll get an umpire throwing it up. Tap down Bell. James the roving. He's worked his backside off today.
He sure has.
And the tackle laid. He would have nearly snuck into my votes, but just outside. Tap down Bell into space. Quick kick forward. Jammed on the boot. Might have been Shepherd, but they'll come back the other way, St Joseph's. And Grandy plucks one from about 4 deep. He just, like tentacles. His arms reached out, Inspector Gadget style, and he holds things up, goes wide to Northam, and you would suspect that is it.
They played 30 minutes final term. Port Phillip Ferry's time clock. Ollie Northam called to play on centre wing. He was trying, well, he was going to try and drive it long.
And umpire said didn't go 10.
Didn't go 10. Mackay has got it. And I'll tell you what, I'd like to get the tape measure out. That looked like 20.
15 now.
Yeah, I think it was 20 metres.
Yeah.
But anyway, Duray puts the tackle on and it's held up for a ruck contest. So on centre wing, on the outer side, Bell up against Mackay. They both get a fist hook. Antonak just wrapped up rugby style, not getting rid of it. The umpire letting it go. And still in dispute. Bell gets it. His kick was smothered. Through the middle, kick around the corner from Shepherd. Inside 50, no mark taken. Falls towards Carmody. He gets on the right foot, top of the square. St Joeys 3-on-2. But can they pick the ball up? That's the thing. They've got Henderson there back in support. His handball was okay to Morrison, and they might be clear now.
Morrison short to Hennessy. They don't need to really advance the footy, but he will to Lewis, who has marked just back of the wing broadcast side.
He just needs some players on this side so he can kick to.
They're all there. They're all set up.
Has to be Paddy de Grandy.
Lewis to a one-on-one. De Grandy against Shepherd. Shepherd did well with the spoil. Front of the pack, Hughes, or rather Cunningham, taken in by McLaughlin. Oh, and just as Shepherd was about to flee the scene with the goods, the police said, I'm going to put the handcuffs on you and I'll ball it up. 60 out from goal. We've gone 31 and a half. It's a long quarter. Tap down Bell, rolling ball towards the boundary line. Peters will see it out.
Sadistic timekeepers here.
I can't understand how we've gone this long.
So we have had just the 5 goals kicked. There hasn't been any great stoppages.
Nothing.
For anything. And the boundary throw in.
Maybe they're
work Mackay.
Enjoying the contest.
Tracking the ball is Camerick, and he's going to give away free kick too high, but it's all said and done here on Anzac Day. St Joseph's dominance continues of the South Barwon Football Club. Make that 9 straight on April 25 and 16 straight overall, dating back to the start of 2014. They just can't get over that St Joseph's hump, South Barwon, and Joeys have won an absolute cracker on our most special of days.
What a game of football. Absolutely treated to a footy fiesta this weekend, but to finish it off with that standard of football, unbelievable.
14-9-93, 13-8-86. We're into the 5th quarter. Thanks to the Sandman Mattress Factory. Sleep better with the Sandman's 2-sided mattresses, made to outlast any other. Torquay Road in Grovedale. Rebecca and Brett Trenery and all the team at the good people of the Sandman Mattress Factory. The goal kickers this afternoon. Ollie Hennessy kicked 4, Hunter Lewis kicked 2, Eloise Antoinette kicked 2, the best for St.Joeys, while there was 3 for Jackson Carmody and 2 for Lockie Noble, a bunch of individuals for South Barwon. I'm heading out into the ground for the presentation in the middle. I'll leave you in the capable hands of Jason Doherty, and we'll bring you that medal presentation very shortly.
Yes, we will. So a great finish to the game here at McDonald Reserve, as we said, throughout the day. Massive crowd, and we're going to do the presentation shortly. We're going to take a break and
gather our thoughts, James.
Gather our thoughts. I know we need to take a breath, don't we? Oof. It's a massive game of football here this afternoon, Anzac Day.
We won't be as puffed as them, though.
I know. There's a few boys out on their feet out there. St.Joeys 14,993 defeated South Barwon 13,886. Try the all-new Chimichanga Jaffle today at APCO Cafe 24/7. We've got you. Live, breathe. K-Rock football.